It's 6 o'clock. The headlines. Beds Police launch new campaign against child sexual exploitation. Hertfordshire doctor's cleaning picture goes viral. And Whitney Houston's daughter dies aged 22.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. It comes after 6 men were found guilty in neighbouring Buckinghamshire of abusing 2 girls in Aylesbury. Buckinghamshire County Council has insisted it has improved child safety practices after criticism from the charity Bernardo's. More from Simon Watts.
Central Bedfordshire's local Safeguarding Children's Board say that recent events across England have highlighted the prevalence of child sexual exploitation. Posters and leaflets will go out around the county, while police will visit youth centres, hotels, pharmacies and taxi ranks where they think potential abuse could be spotted before it happens. From September, they'll work with schools and hold a children's conference with a week of activities to raise awareness and a new website.
A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. Stuart Gould, a consultant surgeon at North West London NHS Trust, says he posted the picture to show his team working well after their normal shifts. His post also contained a message criticising Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt, who's talked about the Monday to Friday culture of doctors. The senior peer, Lord Sewell, is being urged to resign from the House of Lords after being filmed allegedly taking cocaine with prostitutes. Yesterday he stepped down as Deputy Speaker and Chairman of the Lords Privileges and Conduct Committee after the footage was published by The Sun on Sunday. He's facing a possible police inquiry. Today more photographs have been published by The Sun. Bobby Christina Brown, the daughter of the late singer Whitney Houston, has died 6 months after being found unconscious in the bath at her home in Georgia. She was 22. Her mother was found dead in a hotel bath in Los Angeles 3 years ago. Gail Murphy is an entertainment correspondent in LA.
She was placed in hospice care on June 24th, about a month ago, after being put in a medically induced coma by her doctor, who performed a tracheotomy in February to avoid infections. She was surrounded by her family when she passed.
David Cameron will begin his 4-day tour of Southeast Asia by making a major push for trade deals. Mr Cameron, who's accompanied by more than 30 British business leaders, is expected to sign agreements worth £750 million. In sport, Chris Froome has become the first Briton to win the Tour de France twice. The BBC sports editor Dan Rowan was in Paris.
He enters British sporting aristocracy. It's uncharted territory for any British rider, but he wouldn't be blamed, I don't think, Froome, for being relieved as well as delighted that it's all over. After all, never before perhaps has a champion cyclist been under such scrutiny.
And Lewis Hamilton was only 6th in yesterday's Hungarian Grand Prix, but the Hertfordshire driver extended his championship lead to 21 points as title rival Nico Rosberg was only 8th. The weather, some heavy showers this morning, brighter and dry this afternoon, a maximum temperature 20 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Here's the thing I don't get, Simon, and, you know, we've been getting on well since we moved to Dunstable, and you're now in, well, let's be honest, my studio. I think it's time I'm rolling my sleeves up as I talk to you.
I can see that, yeah.
Come on now. Lewis Hamilton and motor racing, that's the dullest sport ever.
It was vaguely exciting yesterday.
How?
It was quite a decent race. There was a lot of overtaking, a few crashes.
Now I'm in.
Yeah,
they're not allowed to crash anymore. And I'm not wishing ill health on anyone. I know a lot of people have been injured, seriously injured and killed but it's boring.
It has been a bit dull lately, but...
And this cycling malarkey, Chris Froome,
not Bradley Wiggins.
Not Bradley Wiggins.
Not as charismatic maybe as Bradley Wiggins. Bradley Wiggins was the first and, been there, seen it, done it, haven't
Chris Froome, right, he must be annoyed because he won't get a knighthood for winning the Tour de France, and he's won it twice. And he's had French people going, oui, oui, and I don't mean yes, yes. They were chucking oui, oui at him, weren't they?
They're not happy in France. They haven't won it for 30 years, so they're a bit cheesed off, and they are assuming that he is not all that he claims to be.
They are making ill-founded claims that he's on drugs.
Absolutely.
Well, you say they're not happy in France. They're never happy in France. Thank you, Simon. They're never happy in France. They're French. For crying out, etc., etc. Morning, guys. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. So, Kath's not here. Shags is.
Hello.
There we go, and I can only apologise. Morning, Kells. Great to have you here. She's not turned up yet. Rats abandoning what can only be described as, hang on, there's water coming in here. This ship is sinking. And as the captain of the ship, I shall be stood on the poop deck, saluting as we all go down. Fanar, fanar. What's coming up on the show? Oh, really? Is that important anymore? Is it?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, it is important that we're BBC Local Radio and we're playing Elliott Smith. Beat that, suckers.
The gentleman's in the lane, spinning his hat on a cane, stepping out for a change. Good morning, all, it's a beautiful day. The generals are winning a war, seems suicidal before. You can roll now. I'll protect you long as you stay. Late morning had to come, I'd be walking in the sun, living in the day. But last night I was about to throw it all away. If patience started a band, I'd be her biggest fan. Look at me, I'm talking to you. I don't want the lead in your play. The store's just about at the scene. The gentleman in green, paying off out on the street. I can't go home, it's not on my way. Things I'd never done, cars bumped into the sun, living in the day. Last night I was about to throw it all away. Last night I was about to throw it all away. Last night I was about to throw it all away. Last night I was about to throw it all away.
370. Bear with me. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me, guys. Hang on a sec. Give it with me. We'll do the show in a second.
This is the Vodafone voicemail service for
It's tempting, isn't it?
0786.
It's tempting to let the number go. Got the wrong fader there.
Please leave a message
That was close.
after the tone. When you finish recording, please hang up or press the hash key for more options.
Morning, Kelly. It's Iain Lee here. Just wondered if you were gonna, I don't know, come in for work or anything this morning. It's 6:10. Be really handy if you did, as it's quite a busy morning, and as you know, Kath isn't here, so just we're here until 9. So rock up any time you want. All right, is that all right, my darling? Thank you so much. Ta-ta. Deary me. If you want to be Kelly this morning, you can. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. Let's do a serious story about sexual abuse. Police in Bedfordshire are to talk to local youth clubs, taxi companies and hotels in a bid to tackle child sexual exploitation. Their new campaign comes just days after 6 members of a child sex ring in Aylesbury were found guilty at the Old Bailey for their part in the abuse of 2 schoolgirls. Well, the police hope the launch of the... Oh, jeez. It's called The More You Know, The More You See campaign will help to stop these horrifying crimes before they have a chance of happening. Ben, remind us why they're starting a campaign like this.
Well, yeah, they've chosen the summer because obviously, children aren't going to be at school, they have more free time, and parents won't necessarily know what they're doing, where they might be, that sort of thing.
Because child abuse doesn't happen in the winter, guys. Let's just clarify that. If you've got a kid, they are perfectly safe in the winter time.
Well, yes, but interestingly, it's not so much parents that they're targeting with this campaign. It's kind of places, organisations who are being sought out to kind of help with this. Places like pharmacies, because kids hang out in pharmacies, taxi ranks, youth centres, hotels and B&Bs. Posters and leaflets are going to be put out around Bedfordshire while members of the specialist unit dealing with child sexual exploitation will be speaking to people about how to spot the signs.
OK, what do these leaflets say?
Describes kind of what child sexual exploitation is. It describes it as abuse where children are exploited for money, power, status. As you mentioned, 6 men were found guilty at the Old Bailey on Friday after years of abuse towards 2 schoolgirls in Aylesbury. One of the victims, whose voice is spoken by an actor, says this is exactly how things started with her.
These men were like, "You're really pretty. Do you want to come back to ours? I'll buy you a drink and cigarettes." Obviously, at that age, you can't buy these things and you fall for it. And you start to believe that these people actually, they want to be your friend. And I think in the back of your mind, you know what they really want, but you just sort of overlook that.
So, often children find themselves in these situations where they're being offered incentives for taking part in these sorts of activities. The new police leaflet asks a number of questions. Not going to list all of them, but they include things like, do these children use their mobile phones secretively? Do they have significantly older friends? Has the young person received unexplained gifts or money? Those sorts of questions. And they also list what makes a child more at risk as well.
This is the start of what is going to be a long-running campaign across Bedfordshire, is it?
Yeah, the police say that from September they'll start working even closer with schools, including culminating in a children's conference as part of a week of CSE activity. They're working with various partners, local councils, Crime Stoppers, Luton Local Safeguarding Children's Board, and there's also a new website that they're appealing people to go and check out, www.bedfordshireagainstcse.org. That contains more information about organisations who offer help and support.
OK, we're looking for someone to be Kelly Betts, because we ain't got no Kelly Betts. She's got to miss the bad finger.
Treat me good, so lazy. You make me feel so alive.
morning, Iain Lee, but BBC Three Counties Radio, 03459 455 555. We need a Kelly Betts. We ain't got a Kelly Betts. Is there someone out there who's always wanted to work in radio? Actually, forget it. Wrong one. No, don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Button B I should have pressed. There we go.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Old Stratford on the A422, reports of an accident at the A5, the Toaster Road roundabout, so take care if you're going that way. Further into London, the North Circular, that's looking heavy already, going west between the Clockhouse interchange and New Southgate in Bounds Green. On the Overground, it's suspended this morning because of overrunning engineering between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Tom. Smoothly done, Iain. 6:16, it's Monday. It's only the 27th of July. I hope you enjoyed your summer, because it's over. These are your headlines. Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. And Bobby Christina Brown, the daughter of the late singer Whitney Houston, has died 6 months after being found unconscious in the bath at her home.
Get more from BBC Three Counties Radio online by liking our Facebook page.
Take part in our conversations,
including what we talk about every afternoon.
Well, it's kind of how most taxes work. So most taxes work that, you know, on the first bit you pay no tax, on the next bit you pay basic rate tax, on the next bit you pay 40%, then 45%.
See pictures and videos you won't get anywhere else.
What we're going to do today is take you around for a lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, all 3.66 miles, which will be used for this year's British Grand Prix.
Get more from BBC Three Counties Radio online by liking our Facebook page at facebook.com/BBC3CR.
I mean, we're being flippant about Kelly not being here. I genuinely hope nothing has happened to her, because it means that if nothing has happened to her when she does come in, then something can happen to her. Outrageous behaviour. Oh, there we go. Smoothly done, smoothly done. It's not like I'm a professional or anything. 03459 455 555. Let's be having you.
There's a certain something in the way you looked at me and said you'd stay that let me know that I was out of line. But I didn't know what else to do, and like a fool I tested you by demanding things of you which weren't mine. And now I feel like such a fool for making you crawl back to me. But you did it with such love that you're standing far above me and all I did to you. I'm sorry now, what can I do? I know that never in the world could I have found me such a girl who's there to pick me up before I fall. And if in the end we should go both our separate ways, I know the lesson I've learned here is worth it all. 'Cause now I feel like such a fool for making you crawl back to me. But you did it with such love that you're standing far above me and all I did to you. I'm sorry now, what can I do? I know that never in the world could I have found me such a girl who's there to pick me up before I fall. And if in the end we should go both our separate ways, I know the lesson I've learned here is worth it all.
03459 455 555. Let's go to Shaggy, who's producing this week. Good morning, Shags. Hang on, let's try that again. That was his fault, not mine, Justin. Let's go to Shags.
Good morning.
Shags, how many phone calls have we got?
None.
Why? Why have we got no phone calls?
Is it my fault?
Yeah, who sat... Dealey, he just asked, is it his fault?
Wow.
Who sat by the phones?
Oh, it's my fault.
That guy?
Yeah.
Right? That guy?
I'm really quite, friendly to talk to.
You're too friendly, and that's the problem.
Well,
Since, and I can't mention any names on air, so I'm going to say these names all off air. Since, and we're not allowed to be too friendly.
Yeah, you've got a good point there.
Yeah, well, you're not even allowed to have a good point anymore. You're not allowed to have a good touch, a good
That's
point.
outrageous.
Exactly. Get some phone calls, Shags.
I'm horrible.
Well, I don't believe that myself.
I
don't believe that.
Dude,
Shags, get the phone calls, boss.
Great to see you, mate. It's going to be a feisty morning this morning. We're going to talk Chris Froome in a little bit. But before that, this is an incredible story, and I'm really excited. We're going to speak to this bloke a bit later on. The internet, as we all know, is for cats and pornography, right? Yeah. It can also. You're right.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I just agree.
And the two, and it can also be used as an interesting way of getting a message across. I was going to say power for good, but I know that some people have argued that what this chap did was inappropriate. Consultant surgeon Stuart Gold, he's been in all the papers this weekend and on Sky and stuff like that, posted a picture of himself mopping his operating theatre long after his shift, and he called out Jeremy Hunt for his plans for a 7 days a week NHS, because you don't get 7 day a week NHS. Well, the picture has been liked or shared over 200,000 times. Not quite the number of shares that we had, Justin, but it's getting close. His message, what is it? What does it say?
Stuart's message was posted shortly before 2 a.m. on Thursday morning. A picture of him sweeping his operating theatre floor at his hospital in northwest London. He wrote, "This is me, 10 p.m. tonight. I am not on call, but I've had to come back to the hospital because my particular skills are needed. I am mopping the floor between operations to help theatre staff so they can start on the next case sooner." He also added, "This little story is not about me." Well, it kind of is, actually. It's dedicated to my team of young trainees. They all stay well beyond the call of duty to get my poor patient into theatre. My 2 assistants have been on call all day. They should have gone hours ago, but they stayed on with me until midnight to make sure I had help. He then criticises the Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, writing, "This is the sort of thing which the NHS depends to keep running and save lives, and that your ignorant remarks will destroy the detriment of our patients."
Is that a big reaction, isn't it?
Absolutely. As you mentioned in the intro, a lot of shares. The picture has been shared over 100,000 times by people in the last 5 days. The comments, mostly positive, and form part of a number of posts and selfies as well from doctors, sharing their beef with the health minister for his remarks about doctors working only Monday to Friday. Incredibly, one doctor shared his payslip online just to prove how little he earns for being on call. There was also a hashtag running on Twitter this weekend of doctors posting pictures alongside the tagline, "I'm in work, Jeremy."
Explain why some doctors have got beef with Jeremy Hunt, the Health Secretary.
Well, he announced that he was prepared to impose a 7-day working on hospital doctors in England. He said that a Monday to Friday culture in parts of the NHS had tragic consequences, and he said that 6,000 people die each year because of this. A September deadline has been set by Mr. Hunt for a deal with the British Medical Association to make it a reality. In response to the picture, by the way, the Department of Health said, "We know that the vast majority of NHS staff do work 7 days a week, and we are hugely grateful for their contribution." It goes on, but I think that's the gist of it. This picture has been shared by a lot of people, and a lot of people having a positive reaction to this as well.
I have to express a vested interest. I am a doctor. I'm not anymore, thanks to a lot of the British legal system.
What? You used to be a doctor?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
Did
you not know that?
No, I promise you, hand on heart, I did not know that.
I used to be a doctor, and then there was...
what, GP? A doctor of what?
I was a paediatrician. So kids.
No way.
Yeah, honestly. And then there was a case, and they stripped it.
Gosh.
Yeah, I know. I thought you knew that.
No, I promise you, I didn't know that.
It's all on Wikipedia.
Oh, that's a great story.
But also, I've got relatives who work in the NHS, and I've used the NHS, and I've got a cousin who's a doctor, and my father-in-law's a doctor in various hospitals. They work flipping out for
Of course they do.
hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, exactly what this story
When
is
was
saying.
the last time Jeremy Hunt saved a life, anybody?
Well, he probably hasn't, to be fair. I haven't got the facts to back that up, but I'm sure that he hasn't. But, exactly what this story is saying, exactly what Stuart is saying, you'll be talking to him later. They are working so hard. So
Ladies
to
and
try and
gentlemen,
improve that, it's all right.
Can I interrupt you? We have to stand, we have to salute. Prince is in the building!
Yes,
Morning,
he is.
Prince! Morning, Prince! Yeehaw! Prince is out. He's our temporary cleaner at the moment.
Yeah.
He's our temporary cleaner.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think he's a top bloke. He comes in and the thing is, he looks like a geezer. Comes on a little foldaway girls' bike.
Yes,
which
he does.
I think has to be respected. We'll get Prince on the show a bit later on. Maybe Prince could be Kelly. I don't know if you've noticed. Kelly Betts has not turned up for work.
No, I am more than willing.
Yeah.
Your name's above the door.
Yeah.
Say you want to play it.
Yeah.
I've got a satellite truck. Haven't got a radio car anymore.
No.
I've got a satellite truck.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, I can take it to a house if you want and go and wake her up. It's up to you.
Yeah, go and do that. And let's hope that nothing serious has happened. If it
Yeah.
has, if it has, we're great radio.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Award winning.
Prince can come and sit in for Kelly until then. Thank you, Justin.
Great
Ta-ta.
There's a farm called Misery, but of that we'll have none, because we know of one that's always lots of fun. And this one's name is Jollity. Believe me, folks, it's great, for everything sings out to us as we go through the gate. All the little pigs, they grunt and howl, the cats meow, the dogs bow wow, everybody makes a row down on Jollity Farm. All the little pigs, they grunt and howl.
Grunt, howl, grunt, howl.
The cats meow.
Meow, meow.
The dogs bow wow.
Ruff, 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 ruff.
Everybody makes a row down on Jollity Farm. All the little birds go tweet, tweet, tweet. The lambs all bleat and shake their feet. Everything's a perfect treat down on Jollity Farm. Regular as habit, the cocks begin to crow, and the old buck rabbit sings "Stuff it up your jumper." Vo-do-de-o. All the little ducks go quack, quack, quack. The cows all moo. The bull does too. Everyone says, "How do you do?" down on Jollity Farm.
Morning, guys. Well, Dealey's off to wake Kelly. I hope nothing serious has happened, but don't worry. We've got a... Thank you. We've got a Kelly replacement coming in. Prince, the temporary cleaner, is going to audition for her role after this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the trains on London Overground, it's suspended between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone because of overrunning engineering works this morning. On the roads in Old Stratford, the accident cleared now on the A422 at the Toaster Road and the A5. On the M25 going anti-clockwise, building up now between junction 21 for the M1 and 18 for Chorleywood. The North Circular busy going west from the Clockhouse interchange towards New Southgate. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Tom. We're about to go into the news bulletin, and I've just heard the words that I prayed I would never hear from a newsreader. Simon just muttered under his breath, "Oh, I've lost the news." I mean, let's hope he's found it, shall we, guys?
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
No, I haven't, so we'll just have the sport. Chris Froome has become the first Briton to win the Tour de France twice. After Sir Bradley Wiggins won in 2012, Froome has now won in 2013 and 2015.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. It's such an amazing feeling. I mean, this picture of standing here on the Champs-Elysees on the final podium has sort of been at the back of the mind. That's been the picture of motivation for the last year, trying to get to this point. So to be standing here now, it just almost feels surreal. I can't quite take it all in.
Lewis Hamilton was only 6th in yesterday's Hungarian Grand Prix, but extended his championship lead to 21 points as title rival Nico Rosberg was only 8th. The Milton Keynes Red Bull team had their best result this season with Daniel Kvyat 2nd and Daniel Ricciardo 3rd behind winner Sebastian Vettel. But it was frustration for Hertfordshire's Hamilton.
I was all over the place. I really don't have any words to explain what happened today, but it was a really bad performance day for myself. Mistakes all over the place, really. I don't know if it was lack of concentration or what.
In football, Watford defender Miguel Layún has helped Mexico to a 3-1 win over Jamaica in the CONCACAF Gold Cup final. MK Dons are being linked with a loan move for Liverpool teenager Ryan Kent. The 18-year-old has been on Liverpool's pre-season tour in the Far East. Luton will find out today if striker Craig McHale-Smith will be joining them this season. The former Peterborough and Brighton player has been training with the Hatters and playing in pre-season friendlies. Meanwhile, goalkeeper Mark Tyler played for the first time since February in Saturday's draw with Coventry. And Wickham have signed former Watford midfielder Luke O'Nien. Meanwhile, Wanderers keeper Matt Ingram made his comeback from injury in a practice match against Aston Villa on Saturday. BBC Three Counties Sport.
Yeah.
Hopefully a bit more at 7.
Now, OK, what is going on? Because Kath isn't in.
Yeah, it's gone to pieces.
Kelly isn't in. How can you lose the... You are the news.
It just disappeared. It's gone.
Do you think you might be able to have it back by 8?
I'll look into it.
OK, Simon, thank you very much indeed.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So there's no Kelly. I've got literally no idea what's going on. Shags is producing. Morning, Shags.
Hi, I'm never getting booked for this again, am I?
No. But luckily we have a replacement because Kelly's not here. We have a normal cleaner is a guy called Malcolm. He's a nice guy. I like Malcolm. It's my dad's name. He's a nice guy. He's been usurped, nay replaced recently by a young lad who comes in and his name is Prince. And Prince is funky. Prince, you're joining us. You're replacing Kelly Betts this morning. How's it feeling?
Wow. Amazing.
Is it? Does it feel amazing? Do you feel that this could be the turning point for your life?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Prince. How old are you? And what do you want to be when you grow up?
I'm 22.
Oh, he's a boy.
Yeah.
He's a boy.
Whole life ahead of him.
How old are you, Shags?
27.
Oh, for crying out loud. I'm working with children. I'm getting paid extra for childcare. What do you want to be when you grow up, Prince?
Well, at the moment, I'm an accounting and finance student, so probably working the...
He's got more brains than you and me put together. Flippin' heck. All right, let's see if you'd be any good at accountancy. 6 times 9.
6 times 9. Whoa. That should be...
This isn't looking good.
This is not your... I'm afraid.
No, not the multiplication type, because in accounting we don't do those kind of stuff.
Okay.
We normally do income statements.
Okay, supposing I earn £120,000 a year, how much tax do I have to pay?
Probably 10% of that.
I want you as my accountant.
Yeah,
This guy's better than my accountant. I want you as my accountant, Prince. Who's been the rudest presenter that you've met here at BBC Three Counties Radio? Has there been someone really nasty? Nick Hoffer or Jonathan Vernon Smith or Justin Dealey? They've been rude to you? Justin Dealey been rude to you? Because I can probably put in a claim.
Everyone seems to be quite nice, yeah, really.
Okay. They seem... This is the thing about the BBC. They seem to be quite nice, Prince. They seem to be quite nice. But deep down, they're not. Listen, I will let you get back to your cleaning duties. You're a very good sport, and I appreciate you coming in. One final question.
Yep.
Do you know who Chris Froome is?
Chris Froome.
Chris Froome. Bearing in mind you came to work on a bicycle this morning.
Yep.
Do you know who Chris Froome is?
Not really, but because it's a bike kind of thing. Is he a bikey guy or something?
He's a bikey guy! You've been a good sport, Prince. Nice to talk to you properly, mate. Thank you very much. Ta-ta.
If you're down and confused and you don't remember far away. Well, there's a rose in a twisted love, and the eagle flies with the dove. And if you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. 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 Don't be angry. Don't be sad. But don't sit crying over good times you had. There's a girl right next to you, and she's just waiting for something to do. And there's a rose in the twisted love, and the eagle flies with the dove. And if you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. Love the one you're with. Love the one you're with.
Dedicating this song to Bill Cosby.
Right into joy. She's a girl, and you're a boy. Get it together, make it nice. Ain't gonna need any more advice. And there's a rose in the twisted love, and the eagle flies with the dove. And if you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. Love the one you're with. Love the one you're with. Love the one you're with.
You crazy, crazy hippies and your free love. Front page of The Sun. That's not a way to wear a bra. I mean, I don't want to humiliate the poor guy anymore. We've all got Skellingtons, but not all of them wear tight bras like that. No, the story in The Sun that has got me feeling sexy. Hey, there's J-Lo. Jennifer Lopez, when will you realise that we're meant to be together? So have you ever been to I don't know what they call it, hang on. Like a village fair, like a village fete, where it's they have like best in show, but vegetables. Vegetables. You know the vegetable shows?
I'm familiar.
Have you ever seen one?
I have. I've seen a large marrow.
No, I don't mean have you ever seen the vegetable. I mean,
right.
Have you ever seen a vegetable show?
Yes, yeah, sorry.
I have as well. And they're weird.
Yeah, they are.
Because you walk around and it's in a tiny village hall and it's elderly people who are not long for this world displaying their plums. And you kind of, or their nuts, and you kind of wonder why. If you've ever done that, by the way, if you've ever displayed your plums or your nuts in public, 03453 009956, I think is probably the phone number. That's the old place. Yeah. That's the place. No, phone those guys in Birmingham. Phone those guys in Birmingham and tell them you want to talk about exposing your plums. That'll liven up their moribund shows. No, 03453 945. What's our phone number?
It's nearly there. 03459 455 555.
459 455 555 is the phone number, and you can call in and talk about whatever boring stuff they're discussing in Birmingham. I'm not there much longer, don't matter. No, I am, don't matter. Anyway, so if you've ever displayed your wares in public, then please let me know. But there's a furore in a place, Quedgley, Quedgley, Quedgley,
yeah,
Quedgley.
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 Yeah.
A village vegetable show has been... You don't get that on Britain's Got Talent, do you? It's always talking dogs or Romanian circus entertainers. You don't get someone going on with a big artichoke, do you?
I think that takes just as much talent as well, really.
I would... yeah, well, I knew this is something vulgar. There's a surprise. A village vegetable show has been accused of losing the plot after it let... Now, the thing about these shows is, right? The thing about... I need a bit of music. Hang on a second. The thing about these shows is, it's all about the pride of Britain Awards, not the pride of Britain. It's all about the pride of having grown your own vegetables, you know, and let's play Trumpet a Go-Go. It's all about the pride of having grown your own vegetables and the work and the effort that you've put in and the, you know, the top secret techniques that you've got, right?
Yeah.
So you think everybody would be... sorry, just putting the record on. Hang on a second. It'll be worth it. Everybody would be treating it with the respect they deserve. Well, not at this village show in Quedgeley. Oh. Perfect.
Like this.
A village vegetable show has been accused of losing the plot after it let locals enter food bought in Tesco. I mean... Well, guys... Residents have won prizes for homegrown carrots, marrows and cauliflowers for 43 years at the Quedgeley show. But this year, so few people entered, organiser, the Quedgeley Community Trust, accepted shop-bought goods. Now, I mean, what? Member, well, Andy Jarrett said... In the real world, it's impossible to know if someone has actually grown their entry. Buying from the supermarket is not something we encourage, but we do want more people to get involved. Well, hang on a second. What's the point of that? You might as well let the Tour de France people go around on Hondas or something. It's Parish councillors in the Gloucester suburb branded it pathetic. Vice Chairman Graham Smith said it was frankly embarrassing. I suppose times have changed, he says. Many people don't have their own garden, let alone an allotment, so they buy their food from Tesco or Asda. Well, I just, you know, come on, guys.
I suppose someone grew it, didn't they?
Yeah, someone grew it, but,
What about the jams?
I don't think the jam entered. Is Paul Weller's got anything to do with this? What, you're saying the jams?
Yeah, because they might not grow the you know, the stuff that goes into the preserve, but they might use it to make a nice jam.
Oh, I see what you're...
Do you get what I'm saying?
I see what... Well, don't the jams have to come from homegrown resources as well?
Possibly, I don't know.
I think they do. I mean, otherwise you might as well just go into Tesco and put a rosette down on something. 03453 00 9956 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. No, if I give that the wrong one again...
I think 03459
Flippin' heck.
455 555.
Jeez, come on! What is wrong with this loser? We need to go back to the 1990s when music was good. Here we go. Hang on a second. Play. There we go. 03459 455 555. Is that the number?
That's the one.
It's close enough for us.
Honey,
There's an indie pop classic from the 90s. Little bit of Airhead. Oh, do yourself a favour. I think it's on iTunes now. It wasn't a while ago. Go to iTunes and download Boing. It's a masterpiece, guys. A masterpiece.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A few problems on the trains this morning. On London Midland, there's a replacement bus running between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction because of an obstruction on the line. On the Overground, it's suspended between Watford and Harrow and Wealdstone because of overrunning engineering works this morning. You can use tickets on London Midland from Watford into Euston. The M25 anti-clockwise, that's heavy between junction 21 for the M1 and 18 for Chorleywood. The M25 clockwise, that's queuing because of overrunning roadworks before the QE2 bridge. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Tom, thank you very much. 6:47, weather coming up in a second. Before that, though, these are your headlines. Stick your radar diaries now. It's Iain Lee. It's BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. And Bobby Christina Brown, the daughter of the late singer Whitney Houston, has died 6 months after being found unconscious in the bath at her home. Let's get the weather. Here's Sarah.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, a very different day to yesterday. Yes, we start with some showers this morning, but actually they're going to fade away as we go through the breakfast period. And then we do have an awful lot to be optimistic about today. We are going to be largely dry. Couldn't rule out a stray shower this afternoon, but they'll be very few and far between. They'll be fairly light. They'll be pushed through quite quickly because it is going to be a breezy old day. We've got quite a bit of cloud around as well, but we'll see some breaks here and there, and in the best of it, temperatures doing a lot better than yesterday. 18 Celsius, 64 in Fahrenheit. Similar sort of day for tomorrow, actually. Not quite as breezy, and perhaps even a better chance of staying dry than today. As I say, couldn't rule out a stray shower, though, here and there just in the afternoon, but mostly dry. And we've got pressure building middle part of the week, which means we're starting to settle down. We've got a bit of a cool northwesterly midweek, but then a southerly sets in on Friday. It looks like things will be dry and bright and warming up as we head towards the weekend.
BBC Introducing.
Are we feeling good? This Saturday night, BBC Introducing is live from Stand and Calling.
So, welcome back to the BBC Introducing stage.
To celebrate the 10th anniversary of this great event, we've got a BBC Introducing stage at the festival, and we'll bring you all the highlights and live performances from across the weekend.
All right, check it out. We're going to try something now. This is a kind of new song.
Break this world when the my bodies become.
Listen to BBC Introducing at Stand and Calling.
You have a whole weekend full of fun. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you to the BBC Introducing team.
Stand and Calling, this Saturday night from 8 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, Chris Froome, Justin Dealey.
Yes.
Chris Froome is,
legend?
You would think he's a legend.
Yeah.
Thing is, legends don't get their second, and he got there second. He got there first twice, but second.
Yeah.
Let me explain the math journey I just made there. He has won the Tour de France twice, okay? But he's the second Brit to do it. First one, of course, being Sir Bradley Wiggins.
Well, apparently, Chris Froome has become the first Briton to win the Tour de France twice.
I think I just...
No, you can't, no.
I think I just...
No, you didn't say that.
I think I just...
Yeah.
I think I just...
Yeah.
But... I wish I was still a doctor, because I wouldn't be dealing with these. Anyway, but people don't like him. So Bradley Wiggins, they liked him because I think he was in the Small Faces for like a bit, wasn't he?
Great Bernards.
Superb. And everyone liked him. He became a Sir. But Chris Froome, well, he had French people trying to run him over.
Yeah.
And they were going wee-wee. And I don't mean saying yes.
Yeah,
they were actually doing wee-wee on him.
Disgraceful.
It is disgraceful.
Disgusting.
Chris Froome is a sporting legend, okay? If you think that cycling is a sport, I don't. I think it's a mode of, how can a mode of transport be a sport? But people don't really know who this guy is, do they?
They don't. You said to me before the programme, please, can you take this to the streets?
I did, mate, I begged you.
And you were on your hands and knees saying, please, just do it.
I was not... Well,
you were on your hands and knees begging me this morning.
I was.
At 5 to 6.
Yeah, I was.
You were.
Hands and knees saying, Justin, please, I really need you to do this.
Yes.
You've got to. And you said, I can't. I'm too busy. I'm going out out on the street doing a Vox.
I've done it for you now.
Thank you.
So I've been out there this morning asking people about the achievements of Chris Froome. I've got some personal views to come on this. Here's what the streets had to say. Lovely bike you got here, sir. What's your name?
Matt.
Morning, Matt. You all right this morning?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Okay, things are a bit tense, but is this bike inspired by Chris Froome?
No. I don't even know who that is.
You don't deserve a bike if you don't watch the Tour de France.
That's cool, because I just find it boring. This is just to get me from A to B.
Are you smiling this morning, sir, because of Chris Froome?
Who? Chris Froome? No, just woke up happy days, just my son's birthday today, so, just...
What about Froomey, though?
Froomey? Never heard of him.
Morning, madam. On your way to work this morning with a spring in your step. Is that because of Chris Froome?
Don't know.
Kev, you know who he is. You're enjoying the vibe this morning. He's made you feel proud. Do you think people, if they own a bike and they don't know who Froomey is, should their bikes be confiscated? Is it a lack of respect?
That's a bit ignorant, but yeah, he should be more popular really with the bike riders, definitely. Yeah.
Well, it's that time of the show when we like to go over to Dilly's thoughts. I just have to flag this up, Dilly, that quite often your thoughts are
extreme,
offensive, aggressive, obnoxious, and extreme. So just to make it a little bit more palatable for the listener, I'm going to put some silly music behind you. Is that okay?
Fine, it's fine.
Okay, you don't
Absolutely
take that as an insult.
No.
Okay, let's go over to Justin. Let's enter Justin Dilly's mind.
It's my view, and my personal view, and not that of the BBC, that if you own a bike, i.e. that guy there, morning, you alright? Yeah, the tense guy.
Yeah.
If you don't know who he is, I'm sorry, but the government should be knocking on your front door right now. And they should be taking your bike away from you. It should be confiscated. I don't care if that bike has cost you £700.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Chris Froome is, who has become the first Briton to win the Tour de France twice, sorry, mate, but your bike, it's being confiscated.
There we go. And those I have to stress again, those are the thoughts of Justin Dealey, and
you
they
agree?
in no way represent the views of Tony Hall, the BBC, or anything.
Do you agree?
I'm not, as you know, Justin.
You do. I can tell by the look on your face. You do
From
agree.
the look in your eye, I can see you've eaten pie. No, it's Justin. As you know, I have to be impartial on this show.
Yes, you do. Yes.
Have you met our new Kelly Betts? It's Prince, the temporary cleaner.
I tell you what, this guy has got one of the strongest vibes I've ever witnessed and experienced at the BBC. I love Prince.
Prince, listen, we decided we're going to make this gig permanent if you want.
All right.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
Prince is the temporary cleaner. We're quite happy to... Sorry?
Who's this guy?
What's this? Oh, Kelly said... This is Prince. He's the new you.
Oh.
So you were late by an hour.
Yeah.
So Prince is gonna. Prince, go on, Prince.
So,
Prince,
should
say
I go and clean?
Yeah, I think you should. You look disgusting.
Yeah, that should be.
Prince, say something funny. Show her how it's done. Go on, say something funny like you did earlier. Go on. Go on. Go on, Prince.
She's cute.
Brilliant. You are a legend, Prince. Sorry, Kels, you've been replaced. You've been usurped. We don't need you no more. Ta-ta.
Now is the time that we've been waiting for. See them arrive from every horizon. We got to work together. The message they're bringing, I'm singing inside. The world is my city. See the lights on the biggest horizon. Into this heaven, into this field of dreaming. Keep your eyes on it. You never know which way it goes. Keep pushing for it. We gotta work together. Then when the final curtain falls,
03459 455 555. I got it right for the first time this morning. Unbelievable. You can text as well, 81333. Start your text 3CR. Chris Froome, really? Giant vegetables. Oh, and Keith Richards. I mean, what an embarrassment. Thank you, Clint Boone. We've got the travel coming up. That's a definite. That's a banker. That's actually happening. The news? I've got no idea.
Travel news for beds, cards and bucks.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Quite a bit of train disruption this morning. On London Midland, there's a replacement bus running between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction because of an obstruction on the line. That's expected to continue for the next 15 minutes or so. On the Overground, it's suspended between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone because of overrunning engineering. On the roads, the M25 anti-clockwise, that's heavy between Junction 21 for the M1 and Junction 18 for Chorleywood. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Tom. If you're in Dunstable and it's wet and it's miserable, look out. There's a tiny ray of sunshine wandering around. Its name, it's Mr. Justin Dealey. He may come and speak to you. Be polite, please.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: Beds Police launch campaign over child sexual exploitation. Hertfordshire doctor's cleaning picture goes viral. And Whitney Houston's daughter dies aged 22.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. It comes after 6 men were found guilty in neighbouring Buckinghamshire of abusing 2 girls in Aylesbury. Buckinghamshire County Council has insisted it has improved child safety practices after criticism from the charity Bernardo's. More from Simon Watts.
Central Bedfordshire's local Safeguarding Children's Board say that recent events across England have highlighted the prevalence of child sexual exploitation. Posters and leaflets will go out around the county, while police will visit youth centres, hotels, pharmacies and taxi ranks, where they think potential abuse could be spotted before it happens. From September, they'll work with schools and hold a children's conference with a week of activities to raise awareness and a new website.
A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. Stuart Gould, a consultant surgeon at North West London NHS Trust, says he posted the picture to show his team working well after their normal shifts. His post also contained a message criticising Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt, who has talked about the Monday to Friday culture of doctors. The senior peer, Lord Sewell, is being urged to resign from the House of Lords after being filmed allegedly taking cocaine with prostitutes. Yesterday he stepped down as Deputy Speaker and Chairman of the Lords Privileges and Conduct Committee after the footage was published by The Sun on Sunday. He's facing a possible police inquiry. Today more photographs have been published by The Sun. Bobby Christina Brown, the daughter of the late singer Whitney Houston, has died 6 months after being found unconscious in the bath at her home in Georgia. She was 22. Her mother was found dead in a hotel bath in Los Angeles 3 years ago. Gail Murphy is an entertainment correspondent in LA.
She was placed in hospice care on June 24th, about a month ago, after being put in a medically induced coma by her doctor, who performed a tracheotomy in February to avoid infections. She was surrounded by her family when she passed.
David Cameron will begin his 4-day tour of Southeast Asia by making a major push for trade deals. Mr Cameron, who's accompanied by more than 30 British business leaders, is expected to sign agreements worth £750 million. In sport, Chris Froome has become the first Briton to win the Tour de France twice.
This almost feels surreal. It doesn't. I can't quite take it all in. Having won it once was massive, but to have been able to come back and to confirm it again now, it's a whole different level.
And Lewis Hamilton was only 6th in yesterday's Hungarian Grand Prix, but the Hertfordshire driver extended his championship lead to 21 points, as title rival Nico Rosberg was only 8th. The weather, some heavy showers this morning, brighter and drier this afternoon, a maximum temperature 20 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Thank you, Simon. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. A busy show. We'll have a little update on Penn School a bit later on. We'll be speaking to one of the mums. There's a meeting tonight as well. This is the... for those who don't know, I'm sure most of you do, Penn School, the school for autistic and deaf children and children who have great difficulty communicating. Closing down. The local MP, Steve Baker, the Conservative MP for High Wycombe, reluctantly came on once, has refused to come on since, didn't like the tone of the interview I conducted with him, said we breached several BBC guidelines. Well, in that case, I look forward to the official complaint. Because I've listened to it a few times and I don't remember there being any breaches, but maybe he obviously knows better than me. If you missed the interview, there's a special Penn School podcast. It's on iTunes. Anyway, can we find out? I wonder because I know that Steve Baker has been to see some bankers recently. He tweeted about it. He'd gone to a bank. I was hanging out in a bank last week. I just wonder, because he said he was very busy. I wonder how many parents from Penn he's met with now. Because he had time to go to a bank, so I'm guessing he must have had time to, I don't know, speak to the parents of some autistic or deaf children who feel that they're being completely shafted. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I've been tweeting him and the PR gentleman that the trustees engaged for free. I've been tweeting them links to the podcast all weekend. Anyway, there's a meeting tonight, and it's really the last chance for the trustees to meet with the parents. Will they do the decent thing and turn up and address the concerns and explain how the hell this has been allowed to close? I think we know the answer. Oh, and other bits and pieces. 03459 455 555. I got it right. Okay.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
Right. This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It is great to have you back, Kelly.
Thanks, player.
Now, new guidance from police is calling on youth clubs, hotels and taxi ranks to be on the lookout for child sexual exploitation. Bedfordshire Police are launching a new campaign today to try and make people more aware of the signs before it happens. It comes as 6 men were found guilty at the Old Bailey on Friday of subjecting 2 schoolgirls in Aylesbury to years of abuse. We're joined by Detective Superintendent Sian Basra from Bedfordshire Police. Morning, Sian. Nice to talk to you again. What is this campaign hoping to achieve?
This campaign is working with our partners across the 3 local authorities, Crime Stoppers and the university, under the guise of the more you know, the more you see. What we want to spread is awareness around CSE and to follow those principles. The more people know about CSE, the more people can help us spot it, and the more people will help us and report it.
What are they supposed to be looking for?
There's different signs, and if you look at what CSE is, it's about an under 18 young person who receives something, whether it's gifts or whether it's alcohol or drugs. But the reason they're receiving those items is in response to sexual offending against them. So we need people to look out for signs of changes in behaviour, whether or not somebody is showing off with the latest phones, technology. But as I said, it may be low-level things such as drugs and alcohol. Really, we're looking for changes in behaviour and a change in their personality.
Why? I don't understand taxi ranks.
Yes, what we've uncovered from good practice and lessons learned from other people is that actually some of these people who prey on young people need to get them from one place to another, and they may use taxis. Taxis are around our county. We want everyone to be vigilant.
But what I don't understand, are you saying that taxi drivers are more likely to abuse young children, or are you asking them to police for you? I don't quite understand it.
No, neither. And I made that clear that taxi drivers, along with lots of different people within our community, span the community. They are great eyes and ears. We want everyone to be vigilant. We want everyone to be aware that this may be going on, and everyone has a responsibility to protect the children in our community, and we want everyone to contribute.
It's great. Of course, everyone's got a responsibility to protect the children. Maybe I'm missing something, Sean. It's Monday, so I've not quite woken up yet. I don't understand what a taxi driver is supposed to be looking for. A kid with an iPhone.
No. It may be that there's an elder person regularly using taxis with a younger person, someone of underage.
But what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything.
No, and that's what I'm saying. There's lots of legitimate reasons why people would travel together, but if they just get a sense, if they're not happy, if they see a pattern, if they're concerned, we just want them to contact us.
Sean, I don't know what are they supposed to... I don't know what they're looking out for. I'm a taxi driver, right? And there's an old boy and there's a girl that looks about 13 that uses my cab regularly. Is that enough to report them?
No, not at all.
Then what should I be... What are the different things... What are the things I need to see to make me want to report them?
But it's not just what they'll be able to see; it's what they'll be able to hear as well.
Okay, well, what am I listening? We're getting close. What am I listening out for? What is it? Am I? If I overhear the old man say sexual banter?
If that causes that person concern, call it in. It could be a lot of things. It may be them supplying them stuff in the back of the taxi.
Oh, they're not going to give them drugs in the back. Sean, they're not going to give them drugs in the back of the car, are they?
Well, they may well do. But what I'm saying is we want people to be vigilant. We want people to help us. We want people to support the children, us and our partners across the local authorities, to make sure our children are safe.
But people support children anyway, don't they? People... with the greatest respect, right, it sounds like, and this is awful that this happens, of course, it sounds like the Bedfordshire Police have been caught on the hop because of this appalling sex ring in Aylesbury, and all of these stories that are starting to break around the country of people abusing and raping children. Let's use the word rape because that's what it is. And it sounds like you're just trying to make a noise to say that you've done something, but you're just handing out leaflets.
Ian, we've had a dedicated CSE team for almost a year now. So this is way before the recent publication about the Aylesbury offending. We've been working with our partners for a long time now. We're ahead of the game. We and our partners across the three local authorities
these kids were raped for about for several years, weren't they? So.
Oh, I'm not going to comment on Aylesbury offending. You know that, Ian.
Well, no, but these girls were used and abused and raped for years. So where was the police then?
I don't know, because that's a different jurisdiction, different environment. What I'm saying to the people of Bedfordshire is let's make sure this doesn't happen in our county. So everyone's got a responsibility.
But I don't understand what you're doing, Sean. I don't. You're handing out. I know everyone's got a responsibility, but you're just handing out a leaflet saying, "Hey, people having sex with kids, that's bad."
No, Ian, it's much more than that.
Well, then tell me what it is, Sean, because you're not telling me.
I'd encourage you and the rest of the county, when you look at the posters...
No, I'm talking to you. You tell me what's on the posters and what's in the leaflets, because it sounds like... It sounds like a little bit of puff and bluster, so it sounds like you're doing something. Convince me that there is more to it than that.
There's 3 strands to our approach. The first one is about raising awareness. The posters are a start of that. We're going to go into these locations and speak to people. We've done a lot of work with the schools. What you've got to appreciate now is that they're on school holidays and they may be less likely to have any form of control or supervision around them. On the poster, there is a website which has been specifically set up for this purpose, www.bbc.co.uk. bedfordshireagainstcsc.org.
I'm missing something, Sean, because I've got no idea what
you want me to explain.
No, but you're
I'm
not.
going to
You're
explain.
talking in vagaries. I've got okay. So strand one of the three strands is we should be aware that child sexual exploitation is bad.
There's two other
I just want to clarify. Strand one is we should be aware that child sexual exploitation is bad. Is that right?
No.
Then what is strand one?
About raising awareness.
Of what?
Spotting the signs.
Okay.
Looking for the risk factors.
Can you please tell me what the signs are?
It may be somebody who's missing from home, somebody who goes away for a long time and they're not with friends and the family are thinking, oh, where have they been? They may come back with some form of injury. They may be changing their behaviour. They may be changes in their emotional, physical condition. They may be joining gangs. They may, as I said, they may be using alcohol, cigarettes or drugs. They may not be able to
use alcohol, cigarettes and drugs. Let's move on to strand two. What's strand two?
Strand two is about providing support for the individuals, because there may be children out there, and Ian, you've got to appreciate this is a sensitive subject for some children. They may be suffering. So strand two is about providing support.
Permission to interrupt. I don't know what implication I've given that I don't think this is a sensitive subject. I do think the rape of children is quite a sensitive subject, Sean. Yes, I'd pick that up.
Yes. So they can contact the police, or they can contact Crime Stoppers anonymously on their number 0800 555 111, or alternatively, they can contact one of their three local authorities. Central Beds, Bedford or Luton are all working together on this.
And
so
strand,
the second strand,
I thought that was the second strand.
Is about providing support.
Okay, and strand three?
The strand three is about prosecuting anyone who is involved in this or related offencing. CSE is not an offence per se, but there's lots of offending that goes on in the lead up to CSE.
Okay, well, I wish you the best of luck with it.
Thank you, Ed.
I just don't. I mean, I like Sean. Sean comes on, and the last time Sean came on, it seemed like an interesting campaign. But I don't understand. I missed something there. Detective Superintendent Sean Bazell. We know that it's bad, don't we? We know that the rape of children is a bad thing. Yeah. Have I missed something? Brian seems to think so. Why are you trying to ridicule this man? It's not ridiculing, Brian. It's called asking questions. The councils are always slow to act, and they will continue to fail. Where is Catherine? No idea where Catherine is. She's probably collapsed somewhere in a drunken haze. Thank you, Sean. 03459 455 555 is the phone number. Let's get the Trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's down to 2 lanes on the M1 going towards London after an accident between junction 9 for Redbourne and 7 for Hemel Hempstead. That's already looking busy from Luton Airport, junction 10. The M25 going anti-clockwise, that's heavy between junction 21 for the M1 and 18 for Chorleywood. Also 17 at Maple Cross to 16 for the M40. Problems on the trains too. London Midland, a replacement bus running between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction because of an obstruction on the line. And the overground is still suspended between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone because of overrunning engineering works. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Tom. I'm not belittling Brian or anything like that. I'm trying to ask questions. I think it's a really important subject, and I just wonder how putting leaflets out is going to have any impact. Am I being dumb? If I'm being dumb, don't text in. Call me 03459 455 555. Right, where are we now? 7:16. Core blimey, Governor. It's Monday, the 27th of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. And Whitney Houston's daughter, Bobby Brown... Not that Bobby Brown, the daughter Bobby Brown, has died 6 months after being found unconscious in the bath at her home.
Every weekday from 3.
The East of England Ambulance Service are urging us to stay safe in the heat and take sensible precautions. Barry is in Bedford. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Rob. Right, I've got a little story about bad breath, and it's quite embarrassing, really, but I do...
Don't be embarrassed.
Roberto Peroni.
Yeah, we kiss them and cuddle them.
Oh, no, you don't kiss an animal, no.
Yes.
So you've started an online petition to raise money to pay the Greek debt?
That's right. I was fed up with politicians going round in circles, and I thought, you know what, let's just crack on and let's see if we can do something here.
Roberto Perroni, weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
03459 455 555 is the phone number. Listen, all those who are upset... Sean, who I spoke to then, he can look after himself. He's a good lad, and I always appreciate talking to him. I just don't quite get my head around this one. It sounds like we are making noise, but... I don't know. OK, well, this is a big story over the weekend. A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late into the night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. It was consultant surgeon Stuart Gould, and Stuart joins me now. Morning, Stuart.
Morning there.
Why did you post the picture?
Yes, it's an interesting question, and frankly, it never was quite intended to do what it's done. Just a couple of preambles. Firstly, although we're going to be talking mostly about doctors, I guess, a lot of what I say is equally applicable to all the NHS staff that find themselves in similar circumstances. And secondly, the going back and operating late at night is actually not something at all unique, and certainly in my 25 years, just about every consultant surgeon I know has done the same. But this came about on one of those nights when we were staying late and fixing problems, because I'd noticed that most of my junior team had been very downhearted and very miserable looking over the last week or so. And during the operation, I just happened to ask my registrar why that was. And the reply was that it was because of the disparaging remarks made by the health secretary, which were very inaccurate, basically about weekend working, lack of vacation, 9-to-5 culture, and so on. So when I got home, I thought I'll just write a short message of encouragement to those training under me and all those I know. And Facebook seemed obvious because most of my Facebook friends are medical. And that's really what it was about. And from there, it sort of took right off, and I think has come to represent how we all feel, probably.
Jeremy Hunt, the health secretary, wants to have a 7-day-a-week National Health Service.
Indeed.
We have that, don't we?
Yes.
Don't we?
I mean, that's exactly the point. I mean, it makes one wonder whether members of government like this have ever actually been in a National Health Service hospital out of hours, because we have a 24-hour, 365-day-a-week emergency service, which is still very stretched, but it's there. And that's really, I think, what has angered everybody, in that it's just so inaccurate, this statement.
I have to put my cards on the table, Stuart. I'm the BBC. I'm meant to be impartial, but do you know what's really annoying me at the moment? I've got my father-in-law is a surgeon, or is a doctor, and was a surgeon, and I've got a cousin who's a doctor in a hospital, and I get to see how hard and how long their shifts are. Also, the NHS saved my mum's life. Do you know what I mean? And I'm eternally grateful to it. And it seems to be a narrative at the moment in some of the media that is trying to turn the public against the NHS, against doctors, against GPs, and against nurses, because you lot are lazy and you don't work hard enough. How does it feel to be the focus of that kind of that narrative?
Well, I mean, I think that's probably supported by the amazing comments that the general public have made to my post, because it would appear to me that a very large number of those statements would suggest that the public really didn't know what goes on behind the scenes. And you're absolutely right in that so many of the different staff of the NHS just go the extra mile. They forego lunch breaks, they don't even, sometimes for 12 hours. They come back and they're not on call. Because the patient comes first. And that is the culture of the NHS, and it is extremely demoralising, I would think, to all those in it to receive that sort of comment. I mean, obviously the comments were aimed mostly at doctors, and we call it doctor bashing, but it does apply to so many others. And I think that's why the public have got behind this particular post.
You say that, for a bit of fun, I have gone to the Daily Mail website.
Yes.
And if you want to see how angry some people are with the world, it's always great fun to read the comments on the Daily Mail. If you'll allow me, there are a lot of people supporting you. There are also a lot of people saying, attention-seeking fool. It's a stunt staged by the union. Ignore it.
Yeah.
And other people kind of saying, basically, you've got it wrong.
Yeah.
There's one very funny one that says you've missed a bit, but I mean that's just that's there are people who do think that you earn too much money and you're not working hard enough.
They may be, but if this post has done anything to address that balance, that can only be a good thing. I mean, obviously everybody's entitled to opinion, but most of us, certainly at consultant level, don't belong to any union. Simple fact.
Is there any? There must be some validity in what Jeremy Hunt is saying, in as much as I'm kind of going off your subject a little bit, but someone who's got a 9 to 5 or an 8 to 6 or a 7 to 7 job, it's difficult for them to get a GP appointment, isn't it? Why can't GPs open on Saturdays or Sundays? Why can't people have operations on Sundays? Is there an argument for looking at the way the NHS hospitals and GP surgeries work and maybe adapting it for the 21st century?
Oh, indeed. I would not want to comment on the GP situation. It's not one I know well.
No.
But certainly, as far as hospital medicine goes, if you look at elective procedures and appointments and things, in theory, there's absolutely no reason at all why the NHS shouldn't work 7 days a week doing elective surgery or elective medicine or elective anything. It makes not a huge amount of sense to have hospitals just doing emergencies. And most of us, I would say, probably the vast majority, would certainly not object to that, and some of us do it anyway. There has been an increase in some elective work at weekends to cope with demand. But the problem is that you can't just put doctors into a hospital at the weekend and say, there you go, do a clinic. You need everybody else that supports you. And unless you have everybody else, you can't do it. And that has not come across in what the Health Secretary said.
Stuart, you're in there. You're at the metaphorical coalface. What, in your opinion, and it's just your opinion, what do you need to make your job and your team and your staff more efficient and work better?
I think it comes down to resource, which means money. And
there isn't any, is there? That's the problem.
That's the problem. If we had enough staff, we wouldn't have consultants doing 48 hours on call, for instance, which they still do. You wouldn't have nurses having to stay behind. You wouldn't have agencies. The budget for agency nurses in the NHS is absolutely gigantic. And so if we had those facilities, life would become a lot easier.
Stuart, again, impartiality goes out the window. Thank you for doing your job and saving people. It's a lot more important than what I do. I would suggest it's significantly more important than what Jeremy Hunt does. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much.
There we go. Stuart Gould. 03459 455 555. They save lives. What do? I sit here and prattle on about giant vegetables. That's what I do. He saves lives. When was the last time Jeremy Hunt saved a life? Anyone? 03. It does get me. I've said this before. There is a real. We are being programmed to hate firefighters for going on strike. Firefighters, actual heroes. We hate them now because they're angry that the terms of their contracts have changed and they've got to work until they're older and their pensions aren't what they said they were going to be when they signed up. They're going on strike. Shame on those guys. So we've got that. We're being programmed to hate doctors and nurses and things like that. We're being programmed to hate seagulls, for crying out loud. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. You can text 81333. Start your text 3CR.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Them's the jokes, folks. Hey, speaking of jokes, where's the sun? Well, it's not a joke. This is brilliant. This is flipping brilliant. You've seen page 11 of The Sun. Big Mac and cries. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Oh. Hang on a second. Kels, hang on a second. I'm going to do something, but I need to get my computer out. I've not got my computer out. Hang on. Hang on a second. Great to have you back, by the way, Kels.
Thanks, Player.
You are a gift. What, can I have to ask the question? Why were you late, my darling?
I didn't hear any of my alarms. I don't think any of them went off, or 5 of them.
Wait, how can you have 5 alarms and none of them work?
Exactly.
Who do we blame for this?
Prince.
He was very...
He could have woke me up when he came in, and he didn't.
He is very, very funky, that guy. Right. So, it's time for... Hang on. Okay, it's time for that. Here's the story, guys. I give you the headline, you try and work out what the story is. It's a good one today.
Okay.
Big Mac and cries. Big Mac and cries. Let's start with Shags. The Shagatolla. The Shagster. The Shagmeister General. Shag it!
Was it a person bought a Big Mac for a loved one, but it was disappointing? They didn't want that. They actually wanted a chicken royale.
Idiot.
Why would that be in the paper?
Why would that even be in the paper?
Maybe it's a famous person.
Oh, we could put it in the paper. Incorrect data. We go over to Kelly Betts, the mistress of this game. Big Mac and cries.
It's a fat Paul McCartney tribute.
Oh, that is good, mate.
That's clever. Thanks.
Yeah.
And no, that's it.
That would be Big Mac and cries. So that was dumb as well.
Well,
it's weird. It's talk about a. I hadn't actually read the story. Talk about a fry, baby. A diner was stunned when he spotted a tot behind the counter at the branch of McDonald's. And there's McDonald's, there's the counter, and behind there is the brains, the genius behind it. There's the little baby. He sat there in a high chair in the kitchen at McDonald's.
Oh, fair play. It turns out Ben's story was better.
The boy, aged around 9 months, was in a high chair when someone took the photo. Guess the name of the woman who took the photo. Well, you won't.
Marge.
Sheila.
Jessie. Surname? Slack. Jessie Slack, is she? Took a photo. Jessie Slack said, he was eating McDonald's food in the kitchen. Bosses sent the baby's mum, whose childcare had fallen through, home from the Cambridge diner. A spokesman said she would not be disciplined, but added, it's been made clear this is unacceptable behaviour.
No, parents bring their kids to work all the time.
Kids bring their parents to school all the time.
Exactly.
So everyone sort it out.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Just one lane open on the M1 going towards London after an accident between junction 9 for Redbourne and 7 for Hemel Hempstead. Busy from Luton Airport. Traffic getting past in the inside lane. The A1M going south, that's queuing around the Stevenage junctions 8 to 7. The M25 going anti-clockwise. You'll find that's heavy between junction 21A for the M1 south and 18 for Chorleywood. On the train, still problems on London Midland. Replacement buses between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction because of a problem on the line. The overground still suspended between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone because of overrunning engineering works. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let me try again. Thank you, Tom. If only you could have heard the conversation I was having with my team off air. A very heated discussion about a cup of coffee using indoor language, I mean.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. It comes after 6 men were found guilty in neighbouring Buckinghamshire of abusing 2 girls in Aylesbury. A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. The senior peer, Lord Sewell, is being urged to resign from the House of Lords after being filmed allegedly taking cocaine with prostitutes. And Bobby Christina Brown, the daughter of the late singer Whitney Houston, has died 6 months after being found unconscious in the bath at her home.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chris Froome has become the first Briton to win the Tour de France twice. BBC Sports editor Dan Rowan was in Paris.
This was surely one of the most poisonous Tour de France's in recent years. Let's not forget, he had not just accusations and abuse thrown at him by spectators, he even had urine thrown in his face. Why? Well, some think it's down to jealousy. After all, France haven't had a Tour de France winner for 30 years. For some sceptics, the level of dominance reminded them of the Lance Armstrong era. All Froome can do is keep winning and hope that one day his achievements are taken at face value.
Lewis Hamilton was only 6th in yesterday's Hungarian Grand Prix, but extended his championship lead to 21 points as title rival Nico Rosberg was only 8th. The Milton Keynes Red Bull team had their best result this season, with Daniel Kvyat 2nd and Daniel Ricciardo 3rd behind winner Sebastian Vettel. But it was frustration for Hertfordshire's Hamilton.
I was all over the place. I really don't have any words to explain what happened today, but it was a really bad performance day for myself. I mistakes all over the place, really. I don't know if it was lack of concentration or what.
In football, Watford defender Miguel Layún helped Mexico to a 3-1 win over Jamaica in the CONCACAF Gold Cup final. Milton Keynes Dons are being linked with a loan move for Liverpool teenager Ryan Kent. The 18-year-old has been on Liverpool's pre-season tour in the Far East. Luton will find out today if striker Craig McHale-Smith will be joining them this season. The former Peterborough and Brighton player has been training with the Hatters and playing in pre-season friendlies. Meanwhile, goalkeeper Mark Tyler played for the first time since February in Saturday's draw with Coventry. And Wickham have signed former Watford midfielder Luke O'Nien. Meanwhile, Wanderers keeper Matt Ingram made his comeback from injury in a practice match against Aston Villa on Saturday. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
That's the button. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number. I'm going to do something very, very naughty, and this does go against BBC guidelines, but sometimes, Shags, you just got to do what feels right. Yeah. To quote the late departed Lee, Whitney Houston, it's not all right, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Just bear with me, geezer. All right.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on.
Justin Dealey, you've cleaned up a mess for me that my mouth made.
Yes.
Nelly Furtado, right? 3.5 million followers on Twitter.
Incredible.
It is amazing, right? So then I started singing her song, Hung Like a Bird.
Yeah.
Hung like a bird, I want to fly away. And you went, what you doing?
Yeah.
And both you and Kels went, what you doing? Great to have you back, by the way, Kels.
Thank you, Claire.
And apparently it's not called Hung Like a Bird.
No, I'm like a bird. Which, to be fair, at weekends, every now and again, when I put on the ladies' outfits, I am like a bird.
Huh?
Hey, you're back to that. You're back to the front page of the Sun. That fella in the bra. Have you seen that?
Wow.
Oh, geezer!
One of the best pictures I've ever seen.
Well, you know, that moment you know when you've lost your job, when you walk past the newsagents and you see that. So it's the song is called "I'm Like a Bird." It's not "Hung Like a Bird."
No, I'm like a bird.
No, okay, well that's great news to know. Now, Keith Richards, as you know, I'm not a fan of the Rolling Stones. I think they are rubbish. Apart from, there are 5 good Rolling Stone songs.
Here we go. Back to this again.
Well, that is true. You know it. 5 good Rolling Stone songs. Let me get a pen. We're going to write these down.
Okay, you write them down.
I'm sure I could name more than 5.
Well,
stay out of this, Shags.
Yeah.
Stay
Have I
out.
waded into a hornet's nest?
A horny nest. Whoa. Lovely. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? This nest is a bit horny. What did you say?
Hornet's
Hornets.
nest.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry. I really need to get my.
I think horny nest is better.
Okay, so a horny hornet's nest. Flipping heck. It's a minefield. Right. Okay. Top 5. The 5 good Rolling Stone songs.
Yeah, come on.
Angie.
Was that covered by Susan Boyle, that track?
Doesn't matter whether
No, it was Wild Horses that she covered. Wild Horses.
Well, Wild Horses is the next one.
Okay.
Wild, wild horses couldn't drag me away.
Okay, so you're a Stones ballad man. Okay, keep going, boss.
You're right. Okay. Here's one. You can't always get what you want.
Nice tune.
But if you try sometimes, you just might find you're going to get what you need.
Wow. Yeah. When you sing face to face, that is scary.
I perform it.
Yeah,
I'm a performer, mate. I'm an entertainer. I'm like Sammy Davis Jr. I'm a performer. Except there I can think of three ways I'm not like Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
But apart from those 3, put them to one side. I don't see colour. He didn't see a lot. Certainly didn't see in 3D. I am like him. I'm an entertainer.
All right, 3. Okay, keep going.
I'm struggling a little bit now. Oh, I know. I know another good one. I know it's only rock and roll, but I like it. I like it. Oh, yes, I do. I like it. Oh, yeah.
Did they do that originally? I didn't think that was.
Who do you think did that?
I don't know.
There's the Rolling Stones.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Shags, I told you. Stay out of this one.
I've got one though. I've got one.
Well,
it's not your list though, boss.
All right, let's hear your good idea of a Stones song.
Beast of Burden.
Oh, for crying out loud!
It's good.
Beast on that burden.
Sympathy for the Devil in your list?
No, because it's awful.
No, that's a good one.
No, it's not. It's awful.
I can't get no satisfaction.
I know you can't, Justin. We'll deal with that later on. Sympathy. Oh, you mean the song?
Yes, the song.
No, it's lazy. It's a cliche.
Give me shelter.
I will do, mate, but I'll have to run it past the wife first.
Keep going off course.
Okay, and the last good Rolling Stone song, ladies and gentlemen. Hang on a second.
What about Come On?
Well, that's not even a song. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the last good Rolling Stone song. And this is... I will skip the advert in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Skip to the last good Rolling Stone song. Here we go. Anyone?
Dancing in the Street.
Dancing in the Streets. For crying out loud. Here we go.
Oh, Shags.
Yeah, guys? Anyone? You don't know this one, do you, Deals?
I don't.
Classic Stones, I'm going to say 67. We love you. This is a tune, huh?
Yeah, but seriously, 5 good songs?
Yeah.
That is disgraceful.
I know,
For a man who loves music, come on.
I love
5 good Rolling Stone songs.
I can only think of 3.
Here we go. Get for the chorus. Get for the chorus.
Get for the chorus.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Taking it home now. We love you. We're the Rolling Stones, and we're gonna love you all night long and all day. Yeah. Roll me a fat one. We're the Rolling Stones on tour again.
Sounds Beatles.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, of course they did. They ripped off the Beatles. That's it.
No, they didn't.
Go on, give me your top 5 Stone songs.
Okay, well, there's so many
And
to
they're gonna-
choose
the
from.
thing is, though, because you're just going to pick the obvious
No,
ones.
well, the obvious ones are the best ones.
No, they're not.
Brown Sugar. What an absolute classic. Give Me Shelter. Such a cool vibe. I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Come On. Their debut. You must know that one. The Beatles did that one as well. Come On. Come On. Come On. 1962, I think that was. There's 4. Another Wild Horses.
I said Wild Horses,
Yeah,
mate,
okay.
yeah.
That's mine as well.
You can't have that
No.
one.
I'm taking it.
He's getting really tense, isn't he?
He is getting tense. The reason that I'm winding Dealey up is because I'm bored. But also, Keith Richards, who, let's be honest, he's not an inspiration. He's not a hero. He's he's an embarrassment to Britain, to guitar player. He's a rubbish guitar player.
I won't go that far.
And he's an embarrassment to pensioners. Hellraiser Keith Richards has revealed he still often kickstarts his day smoking cannabis, aged 71. The Rolling Stone legend told how he's been unable to kick his weed habit despite giving up his other vices. He admitted, "I smoke regularly an early morning joint, strictly California." Rocker Keith told Mojo magazine, "One of the most pleasant things to watch is a map of America where it goes green, green, green. Whether it's good in the long run." What was I saying? You took this.
You need one of these.
Thank you,
need
mate.
one of these. Fantastic.
Thank you very much
done,
indeed.
well
You've
done.
taken Keith Richards to the streets.
Yes, this picture, what in the Daily Mirror today, the picture of Keith. We've been out on the streets this morning asking, is this man an absolute disgrace? Still smoking cannabis every day at the age of 71. Just to warn people, there is some slang coming up in this report.
There's foul language.
Yes, some foul language as well.
Should we? The foul language is zoot.
Yep.
Fart?
Yes, the F word's in there as well.
And there's another word that...
there's something else in there as well, yeah.
Okay, guys.
It's got a little bit tense out there this morning
Get
with
out
this picture.
your swear word bingo cards. It could be someone could be a winner. We could get a full house. Let's have a listen to this.
Sir, is this guy an embarrassment or a legend?
He'd be an embarrassment. Smoking zoot.
Smoking what?
Spliff.
Madam, look at Keith Richards. Do you know who that is?
Well, I've seen him about. He's one of the what group is it? I don't know. I don't really.
One of the Beatles?
No, not the Beatles.
Searchers?
No.
Kinks?
No.
The Bachelors?
No.
Jerry and the Pacemakers?
No.
Brian Paul and the Tremolos? The Barron Knights?
No.
Thin Lizzy?
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones, that's the one. That's the one. We got there in the end. So that picture, seeing Keith this morning, hearing about his views, is he an embarrassment?
Well, I suppose so, yeah.
Strong views. Thank you, madam. Take care. Richard. Keith Richards. Look at the state of him. Is he an embarrassment?
It's up to him what he does, isn't it? Really, it's his business, nothing to do with me. My life doesn't have anything to do with him, and his life has nothing to do with me. So, end of the day, who gives a monkeys what some old fart does in their own time? He walking around. If he's walking around the street smoking it, then do something about it. But the old bill and the government and the courts ain't going to do jack about him smoking weed.
Keith at 71. What a mess.
Absolutely.
He's still smoking cannabis every morning, so he says. Is that man an embarrassment?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you, madam.
You can say, isn't it?
So, what do you think about this picture of Keith here?
Very bad, very bad. He shouldn't be doing it, not at his age. And what influence does it give to the young generation? I don't know.
I mean, looking at that picture there of Keith doing his thing, what's the first thing that comes into your mind when you see a picture of Keith Richards? What do you think?
He does look his age. He does, he really does. I'll tell you what, I think he's an idiot.
He sends his best regards to you as well. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
I thought, I'm going to take We Love You off. I'm going to add this one. This is a great one.
It's a 6 now, yeah?
No, We Love You's gone and this one's on. Do you know this one?
No.
This is great. This is the Rolling Stones.
If you start me up.
Actually, it's not the Stones version. It's a good song.
Who's this?
If you start me up.
It's the Folksmen.
If you start me up, I'll never stop. I've been running hard. You got me ticking, gonna blow my top. If you start me up, if you start me up, I'll never stop. You make a grown man cry. You make a grown man cry. You make a grown man cry.
Spread out the oil, the gasoline. I walk smooth. She's a mean machine.
Now that is a song.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a take.
I told you I had to stop that earlier because it's got very rude lyrics at the end.
Terrific stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, player.
travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Just hearing some reports, Phillips called to say that the M1 going north is blocked because of an accident around junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead. In the other direction, going towards London, the M1 still queuing after an accident which has now been moved onto the hard shoulder from junction 9 at Redbourne down to 7 towards Hemel Hempstead. Still busy from Flitwick, although all lanes now reopen. The M25 anti-clockwise, that's looking heavy between junction 21A for the M1 South and 18 for Chorleywood. Back to normal on London Midland between St Albans Abbey and Watford Junction after a problem on the line earlier. The overground, though, that's still suspended between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone after overrunning engineering works. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah, player. 03459 455 555 if you want to give us a call about Keith Richards and indeed the Rolling Stones. People are getting very angry on the text about the Rolling Stones, but also a lot of people agreeing that actually they are rubbish. They're pony, aren't they, really? Where are we? 7:47. It's Monday the 27th of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook, and the senior peer, Lord Sewell, who was filmed allegedly taking cocaine with prostitutes while wearing an ill-fitting bra, is resisting calls to resign from Parliament. Let's get the weather. Here's Sarah.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thanks very much indeed. Morning to you. We've still got a few showers around across the three counties, but actually things are starting to dry out now. It's not going to be a scorcher of a day. We're not going to see a tremendous amount of sunshine, and it's always going to be a bit on the breezy side. But there are reasons for optimism away from all of that, because there will be some breaks here and there, so the odd brighter spell. And actually, we'll get through much of the day without too many showers around. Not to say that you couldn't rule one out this afternoon. It'll be fairly light and patchy. If you do see one, it'll zip through quite quickly as well. And the temperatures are a little below par for the time of year at 18 Celsius, but a lot of dry and usable weather for you today. Very, very different to yesterday. A similar scenario for tomorrow. You might actually catch a bit more in the way of sunshine or blue sky tomorrow afternoon. And generally, again, couldn't rule out a shower, especially towards the evening, but mostly a lot of dry weather through the day tomorrow and a top temperature of 18 Celsius. Perhaps still the threat of showers around on Wednesday afternoon and a smidge cooler at 16 with a northwesterly wind. But from Thursday and Friday, we're dry, settled, good spells of sunshine developing, warming up a little too as we see the benefits of high pressure. Looks like we'll be back in the low 20 Celsius through next week.
Cheers, my dears.
Every weekday morning.
One partially closed and the others didn't operate at all.
I have contacted other companies who do it professionally, and they said it should have been anchored down.
The JVS Show.
It was looked over by the garage and they told me do not move the vehicle anywhere. It's a complete death trap.
The JVS Show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
I'm getting nowhere. I've tried on numerous occasions to talk to the manager of this company.
If you need our help, email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk.
So they said, we're going to contact the customer, we're going to have a chat, and we're going to make a gesture to that customer.
And we could do the same for you.
Without your programme, I don't know what you'd do in the morning.
The JVS Show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, we've literally had no phone calls this morning, apart from Squares, who want to tell us about the travel. I mean, really, guys? Is that what you think local radio's for? Oh, in many ways, it is. Why have we had no phone calls, Kels?
Because I haven't been here.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, let's blame
You
it
can
on...
start ringing now, guys. 03459 455 555.
The shop is open for business. Both the front and the back doors are open. Enter any which way you can.
And I've got some great offers on.
Please do, and you can leave a deposit if you want.
Of course.
A monetary deposit. So, Chris Froome is the new sporting hero. Who's Chris Froome, Kelly Betts?
That cyclist
Well
fella.
done. Well done. Cycling not really a sport, is it? It's a mode of transport. You might as well say getting the bus is a sport.
They should do that.
That's actually not bad, is it?
Just get on loads of buses.
Bus Olympics.
Yeah.
Olympibus gets...
Bus Olympics.
This could get us in trouble.
Yeah.
They should do. Just get on the bus, innit? Just get the bus somewhere. MPs demand a night... Oh, for crying out loud. MPs demand a knighthood for double Tour de France winner. Flippin' heck. Really? Really? Chris Froome glided into the history books last night as he became the first Briton to have wee-wee chucked at him by Frenchmen. They chuck wee-wee at him. And I don't mean yes, Kev.
Really?
No.
Where's Kelly gone?
Sorry?
Where's Kelly gone?
What? Did you not call up to talk to me?
No. Why would I want to call you?
So you just want to talk to Kelly?
Yeah, Kelly's a lot more fun.
Great. Can I ask?
She's an inspiration.
Oh gosh, if she's an inspiration to the generation across the nation, then we're all inflation. Tell me what you want to say to her, Kev, and I'll veto. Okay, hang on. Let's reverse the roles. Hang on a second. Good morning, BBC Three Counties Radio. What would you like to say to Kelly Betts?
Why are you... I thought you were a presenter.
No, I know, Kev. Flipping heck, mate. Blimey. Give me some slack, please. I'm desperate for some slack. If anyone's got any spare slack, I would love some. Okay, but if I can't just let you speak to Kelly. She's got a job to do. So I'm vetting the Kelly calls.
You're a vet? I thought you were a radio presenter.
You're going to have a slap bum in a minute. Good morning,
You
BBC.
do that as well?
Yes, I do, actually. That is one of the joys of this job. Good morning.
I thought that was Catherine's job.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for calling. You're through to BBC Three Counties Radio. What would you like to say to Kelly Betts?
No, she doesn't say that.
No, she doesn't. She's not saying it. I'm saying it.
You ought to ring up the Three Counties and just hear how she does it properly.
I will ring you up in a minute and ring you up your backside.
Have you got my number? Calm down, Ian. Calm down. Just breathe.
Right. Okay. I'm good. Right. Okay. Right. Hang
breathe
on.
in and out.
I'll breathe in and out. Hang on. Just bear. Could you bear with me 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay?
Hello, Three Counties.
Wow, that is a lot better. Who was that idiot?
I just
Hi,
wondered,
Ian.
can you put me through to Kev, please?
Of course I can. Bear with me.
Thanks very much. What line are you going to put me on?
I'm just putting you on Fade of 2.
Okay.
Fade of 2, Ian.
Kev? Good morning, Mr. Lee.
Right, Kev, what is your beef?
Beef? I'm actually a vegetarian. I don't have beef.
I'm going to come round. I'm going to get a lamb shank and shove it where the sun don't shine.
Is it morning already?
Thank you very much. Massive plum that guy was. Morning, this is Ian Lee. Oh, no, hang on a second.
Morning, this is Ian Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, 3459 455 555 is the telephone number. Chris Froome glided into the history books last night as he became the first Briton to win the Tour de France twice, leading to calls for him to be knighted. I don't understand. I thought it was a bit of a knee-jerk to knight Sir Bradley Wiggins. He wasn't knighted when he was playing for the Small Faces, was he? No. So just to knight him for riding a bike fast... If I go down a hill, I am well fast on the bike. And I don't always wear a helmet. Sue me. His victory in the gruelling 2019-mile cycle race, is that all? Came against a backdrop of abuse and suspicion, during which he was spat at, jeered, and a cup of urine. Do you know what annoys me? People who say urine. But why would you say that? Yes, it's a urinal, but why would you say urine? It's urine. You plums.
The joke's on that person, really, because they've had to stand there for ages just holding it.
Yeah, some Frenchman
just
had
standing there with a cup of wee-wee.
Or maybe it was freshly... Maybe he had a
Well, he
friend
timed it
on the other
perfectly.
side of the hill
Mm.
who radioed him, and he went, "He's coming, quick, do it now." "Oh, I cannot do it." "Oh, yes, I can." Hey, I saw a bloke with... whack them straight through. I saw a bloke with one of them Apple Watches at the weekend. Went for a bit of Japanese food. The kids were away, beautiful. So we went for some Japanese food. And there was a fella, and his watch went... I can probably do the noise his watch made. Hang on a second. Settings, sounds. His watch went. Oh, it's not.
You got a text.
It didn't do that. It actually went like that, which is the. All right, steady, which is the classic iPhone sound. And he looked at his watch and he went, "Yeah, I've got a text." And he then because the message doesn't come up on the watch, all it does is it tells you you've got a text. He looked at it and went, "Got a text." So then he had to go into his pocket and get his phone out to look at the message that had been sent to him. So I thought technology, Iain, was supposed to make things quicker and simpler, or even cut out a whole action in a chain of actions. This has added an action and has slowed things down.
Huh?
The fella with the... 2 weeks ago, this. The fella with the iPhone watch, Iain.
Yeah.
What did you call him for, Iain?
Oh, sorry, I haven't been listening for the last minute because I've been reversing the van. But I was just saying that cycling's not really a sport, is it? Whoever wins has the best bike. And it's like, motorsport and Formula 1. It's whoever's got the best car. So really, I wouldn't give him a knighthood at all. I wouldn't even pay him.
What?
People do it at the weekend, so it's just a glorified hobby, isn't it?
It is a hobby. You might as well turn getting a bus into a sport.
Absolutely, or a taxi. Yeah.
Hey, taxi races. Now I'm interested. Taxi races. Well, it was a great call, Iain.
Thanks very much. I'm a bit distracted. Sorry.
What is going on? Are you in a lap dancing club or something?
No. I'm just arrived where I've got to be, and somebody's just opened the door, and I'm trying to say hello to them.
Are you? Wow, it sounds... so many questions. Where have you got to be?
I'm in Stevenage.
I'm sorry to hear that, Iain. I really am. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. 81333. Start your text 3CR. We're talking cycling. We're talking vegetables. We're talking the Rolling Stones. What a load of old guff. 03459 455 555. Let's get the
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
After a brief closure on the M1 going north, now queuing. The accident's been moved to the hard shoulder at junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead, but queuing now from junction 6A for the M25. That accident was just by the slip road. The M1 going in the other direction, that's still queuing quite a long way after the accident between junction 9 for Redbourne and 7 for Hemel Hempstead. Those lanes open as well. The A1M queuing going south there between the Stevenage junctions 8 and 7. The M25, that's still heavy anti-clockwise from junction 19 for Watford, and on London Overground it's still suspended because of overrunning engineering works between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Tom. All coming up in the next hour. A little update on Penn School, the school we've been talking about the last couple of weeks in High Wycombe. Not from the local MP, not from the trustees. No, that would be crazy. From one of the mums, of course. There's a meeting tonight. It's really the last chance that the trustees have got to speak to the parents face to face. Are they going to turn up? Well, judging on their previous behaviour, I'm kind of guessing not. I wish they'd prove me wrong. Please, guys. 03459 455 555. I'm off for a wee. What do you like to do during the news?
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: campaign to prevent child sexual exploitation in Bedfordshire. Hertfordshire doctor's cleaning picture goes viral. And Whitney Houston's daughter dies aged 22.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today, working with Luton, Central Beds and Bedford councils to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. It comes after 6 men were found guilty in neighbouring Buckinghamshire of abusing 2 girls in Aylesbury. Detective Superintendent Sean Basra from Beds Police says they're working to make sure it doesn't happen there.
We've had a dedicated CSE team for almost a year now. So this is way before the recent publication about the Aylesbury offending. We've been working with our partners for a long time now. We're ahead of the game. What I'm saying to the people of Bedfordshire is let's make sure this doesn't happen in our county.
A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. Stuart Gould, a consultant surgeon at North West London NHS Trust, says he posted the picture after Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt criticised what he called the Monday to Friday culture of doctors.
But the problem is that you can't just put doctors into a hospital at the weekend and say, there you go, do a clinic. You need everybody else that supports you. And unless you have everybody else, you can't do it. And that has not come across in what the Health Secretary said.
It's understood that the senior peer, Lord Sewell, who was filmed allegedly taking cocaine with prostitutes, is resisting calls to resign from Parliament. Yesterday he stepped down as a Deputy Speaker and Chairman of the Lords Privileges and Conduct Committee after the footage was published by The Sun on Sunday. He's facing a possible police inquiry, and this morning The Sun has printed more photographs. Bobby Christina Brown, the daughter of the late soul singer Whitney Houston, has died. She was 22. She'd been in a coma after being found unconscious in her bath nearly 6 months ago. Regan Morris reports from Los Angeles.
Bobby Christina Brown passed away surrounded by family members. She was the only daughter of singers Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown. She dreamed of carrying on her mother's legacy as a singer and actress, and she'd had a few small TV roles, but her career had not yet taken off. Whitney Houston died at the Beverly Hills Hotel, where she was found face down in a bathtub. Bobby Christina was found under eerily similar circumstances at her home on January the 31st.
Firefighters in Milton Keynes have tackled a small fire on a narrowboat moored on the Grand Union Canal at Gifford Park. Around 15 firefighters plus the water rescue unit from Newport Pagnell were called at 11:30 last night. In sport, Chris Froome has become the first Briton to win the Tour de France twice.
This almost feels surreal. It doesn't. I can't quite take it all in. Having won it once was massive, but to have been able to come back and to confirm it again now, it's a whole different level.
And Lewis Hamilton was only sixth in yesterday's Hungarian Grand Prix, but the Hertfordshire driver extended his championship lead to 21 points as title rival Nico Rosberg was only eighth. The weather, some heavy showers this morning, brighter and drier this afternoon, a maximum temperature 20 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir. I just had a toilet break during the news.
Never.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Doorbells.
It's like a greatest hits concert this morning, isn't it? Morning, Iain Lee, BBC 3 Counties Radio. 03459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
You know the rules, guys. We sit here and we've got all this stuff to talk about. You can call in about anything. You haven't got to call in about the Rolling Stones or Giant Vegetables or anything. You call in about whatever you want. Hey, I tell you what, Phil, I went to the pictures last night with the kids.
Aww.
Inside Out with Whiteley. What's his name? David Whiteley.
Yeah.
He's not in it that much, actually.
Really?
He's not in it as much as I was expecting, which is disappointing. I
Yeah.
kind of went because I thought a bit of David Whiteley, maybe a little bit of Matthew Wright, maybe even a little bit of me. Very little. Instead, it's a cartoon about being inside someone's head.
Oh.
No, I mean, David Whiteley is constantly in my
Is
head.
it David Whiteley's head?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh.
No. But it's enough good. It's not a kid. It's a kids' film, right? But it's not a kids' film. I said to my youngest, almost fell asleep, and the eldest, I said, "Did you like it?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Did you understand it?" He said, "No." He said, "Sometimes I just like things, even if I don't understand them, they just look good." And I'm thinking, yeah, all right. It's cost me about £7 though for you to look at something that looks good. I'll send you a picture. But it's not. If anyone's seen Inside Out, it is not a kids' film, right? It is a psychedelic, psychological masterclass. They should show this at universities where people are studying psychology, because it's all about how the brain works and about emotional development and spiritual development. It's deep, man.
Really?
It is flipping deep. It's funny,
Yeah.
but it's deep. It's heavy.
So
Sounds like a lot for a Sunday.
Sorry, Shags.
Sounds like a lot for a Sunday.
It was a lot for. I was in floods of tears as well. Oh God, man, I'm crying at anything at the moment.
What were your sons doing while you were crying?
One,
Because they didn't get it.
One wanted me to go out and get him a drink, and
Yeah,
I
fair
said,
enough, fair play.
no, I have none of that. And the other one was saying, "Can I come and sit in your lap now, Daddy?" I said, "No, you can't." But if anyone's seen it, honestly, it's deep. It's profound. That's it. It's profound.
Is it profound?
It is. It is well profound. They can put that on the post if they want, and if they don't, I'll go and write it myself in Sharpie.
Tweet David Whiteley and see what happens.
I will do. Hopefully, we'll hear back from the legend, the player, the man, the myth. The issue, if you've seen it, 03459 455 555, is profound. I'm not being flippant. Honestly, you're watching it, you're going, flipping heck. This is heavy, you know. This is heavy, man. The issue of child sexual exploitation has made headlines here in recent days after 6 men were convicted of running a sex ring in Aylesbury. 2 schoolgirls were subjected to several years of abuse. Well, in Bedfordshire today, a new campaign has started to raise awareness of the early signs that someone may be being groomed. Police will be visiting places like hotels, youth groups, taxi ranks and pharmacies with the message, the more you know, the more you see. If you heard an hour ago when we were speaking to the copper involved with it, I'm struggling to get my head around what this campaign is. I mean, obviously they want to stop this happening because it's awful, but I don't quite see how this campaign is actually going to have any impact. Professor Helen Beckett is a criminologist at the University of Bedfordshire, specialising in child sexual exploitation. This is a massive problem, isn't it, Helen? And I'm not even shocked now when another news story comes out because it just seems to be everywhere.
No, you're right, Iain, and I think that's the sad thing, isn't it? It starts to feel like it's just another case. And I think the thing we have to remember is the horrendous nature of the abuse in each of these cases. And we have to be, I think what you raise is really important, Iain, that we don't become immune to this and that we actually remember that it's a child going through every case of this. But you're quite right. I mean, we really welcome the fact that Bedfordshire is starting to raise awareness about this and doing this campaign.
But do we...
What we know is it's across the country everywhere.
Do we need... This is what I'm scratching my head around, Helen, how effective this is going to be. Because all right-minded people, I nearly said normal, but I don't know what that means. All right-minded people know that that grooming 12, 13, grooming anybody for sex, either be with drugs, with alcohol, with presents, with iPhones, whatever, and then sharing them around your mates, we all know that's wrong, don't we? And this campaign isn't going to make those people who are considering that go, oh, I didn't realise it was bad. Do you know what? I'm not going to do that.
No, I agree with you. I think there's 2 important things there. One is, my understanding is this campaign is more about equipping people to look for what's going on and reporting it. I don't think this a campaign like this is ever going to change the intentions of someone who's wanting to do this. But just to pick up on your point of we all know this is wrong, we do when you spell it out like that, Iain, but actually the difficulty is that we know that people are seeing things go on in their communities. Professionals are seeing young people go missing or seeing them arriving with things. And unfortunately, actually, we're not picking up it's wrong immediately because we're saying things like putting themselves at risk or they're going missing and they're taking drugs and alcohol. And it's taking us too long to realise this as a child. We're missing that going on. And we're actually, in some ways, I mean, you only have to look at this case, what came out in Aylesbury, of Bernardo saying, well, we actually raised this before and there wasn't enough of a response. So I'd love to say that we all know it's wrong and we react well, but we know it. But actually, we need to get better at picking up the signs earlier on and intervening.
You're right to raise that. And when we've spoken about other instances around the country, there, of course, the councils knew what was going on. But also, when I've talked about it on here, some people have said, well, yeah, but you know, they're 14-year-old girls, they're troublemakers, they're old enough to make their own mind up. And you forget that some people forget the fact that 14, they're kids. They might look like women, you know, they might have all the bits and pieces, they might act like grown women or grown men, because it happens to boys as well, but they are kids.
You're absolutely right, and for me that is the critical point around this. We do a lot of training of social workers, police, other professionals, and when we do that, I challenge them to say, we talk about that language and those judgments, and I say, you know, would you ever say that about a 5-year-old child? Because actually we have a whole other set of standards and we're letting things go and saying they're permissible just because someone's 14 that we wouldn't dream of doing if they're 5 or they're 7. But the core thing is our legislation is very clear. You're a child until under 18, and we need to stop treating them as if they're adults and can make adult choices.
One of the going off ever so slightly, but this I'm coming to a relevant point. I remember when Jonathan King was sentenced for abusing boys under the age of 16, and his argument was, well, they must have liked it because they kept coming back.
Yeah.
And you hear that about these cases where it's gone on for years, and again, some cynics will say, but why did they keep going back? Can you explain why a child keep going back to their abuser doesn't actually, it doesn't mean that they're enjoying it and they like it?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, that's in our conversation about what's going on as to why they come back, isn't it? But in short, the grooming actually makes the young person reliant on the person who is abusing them. There's a couple of things going on. One of the particular challenges around child sexual exploitation is that the groomers actively give the young person something they want or need in most cases. So it's the access to drugs, the access to alcohol. And if you're going through abuse, you want to keep, young people have told me, they keep going back because they need the drugs and alcohol to then actually deal with what they're going through. So you keep going back for that. One of the other real things we see is that young people often feel that they're in a relationship. That was mentioned in the Aylesbury case. They thought it was their boyfriend. They thought they were loved. And if this is what you're exposed to at a very early age, in that case, the 12-year-old was passed around, and I think she referred to, she thought this was what normal behaviour was. And then the other key thing as well is sometimes for these young people, there's subtle or not so subtle threats going on. I've interviewed and met with quite a number of young people who keep going back because they are scared of the implications of not going back. So to an outsider, we may think they are freely going back, but there is a lot of stuff going on. For example, some are going back because they've been told if they don't, something will happen to their younger brother or younger sister or their friend. And so there's a whole complex dynamic of things going on that the young person is going back and doesn't see the abusive nature of what's going on, or just feels trapped and feels they need to keep going back.
This campaign is to raise awareness, and it's for members of the public to notice or to be more aware of signs that something may be going on. What are the signs?
So again, there's lots of different signs. If we think specifically for a parent or a carer and what they need to be aware of, I mean, obviously, if a child is starting running away or going missing, you'd be concerned about what's going on there. If a sudden change in behaviour. So it doesn't mean that they suddenly start dressing in what we would call a sexualised manner. Sometimes what it is they actually start covering up and dressing kind of to, So what you're looking for is a sudden change in behaviour.
But that's teenagers, though, isn't that? That's tricky because teenagers, you hit 12, 13, 14, and you do change. Your attitude, the way you speak to your parents, your whole mood can change. That's normal, isn't it?
You're right. That's literally what I was about to get to. And I mean, that is the challenge, isn't it? We've all been there. That's what we do as teenagers. So the key thing I would say for parents and carers is twofold. It's about doing educative work with your child before they hit that stage. I know a lot of parents are uncomfortable talking about sex and things like that, but they can talk about healthy relationships. They can talk about kind of having control and not doing things you don't want to do. But the other most important message parents and carers can give their children is that they can come and talk to them if there's anything wrong, and there's nothing's going to shock them or judge them or influence their relationship. And it's creating that avenue of communication. So if a young person has, if something doesn't quite feel right, come and talk to me about it, and let's look at what's going on. And for the wider community, community, all of these things, if you look, Aylesbury, they talked about the marketplace. We know hotels are being used, taxis are being used. And actually that is the benefit of this campaign, is educating taxi drivers and hotels and people in the community. If you see something that just doesn't seem right, if you see a number of men and one younger boy or one younger girl with them or a couple, pick up the phone. The police want to hear those things. And you may feel you don't have much to contribute, but if 5 different people phone with that and the police put it together, that's what starts to give them. So it's just for, as a member of the public, being alert to what we see and what doesn't seem right and passing that on.
Helen, it's always fascinating talking to you, and I really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Iain.
Thank you very much indeed. That's Professor Helen Beckett. 03459 455 555. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 going north, it's still queuing after the accident from junction 6A for the M25 to 7 for Hemel Hempstead. On the M1 coming towards London, the accident there now cleared out the way, but still very busy from Flitwick at junction 12 down towards Hemel at 7. The A1M going south, that's queuing around the Stevenage junctions, 8 to 7 going towards London. Busy at the North Orbital Road at Bricketwood, heavy coming down onto the M25 at junction 21A. And on the overground, it's still suspended because of overrunning engineering between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone. You can use tickets on London Midland from Watford to go into Euston. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. Right, where are we? 8:16. It is Monday, the 27th of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. And the senior peer, Lord Sewell, who was filmed allegedly taking cocaine with prostitutes, is resisting calls to resign from Parliament. 03459 455 555.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, Tim. Oh, harmony there.
Yes.
You're doing the bass. You went for the bass.
I tend to go
about the bass. I'm all about the bass. No treble.
Yep.
She's a one-hit wonder that won't go away, is she? When I first heard Meghan Trainor singing "It's All About the Bass, No Treble," I had in the image in my mind of a slim yet bootylicious young black lady.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
I haven't seen her. I don't. You know what? Is she not?
No, she's not. She's a fuller-figured young white woman, completely, and it's just funny. You make up these images because it's quite a funky. So you listen to the songs after that; they're quite bland. But it's quite a funky.
It is a funky vibe.
Little vibe.
I know a lot of people when they heard Mick Hucknall for the first time thought he was perhaps a quite portly black soul singer. I thought he was probably a ginger, white, pale Manc, and he was.
Here's what we can do, because we're BBC Three Counties Radio. This could be done at no other radio station. Because, dear listener, I know you will tread very, very delicately and carefully. White singers you thought were black, and black singers you thought were
Why
white.
not?
When Buddy Holly, famous story, Buddy Holly, everyone thought he was a black man because white guys hadn't started making that, hadn't ripped off that music yet, and he got booked to play at I think it's the Apollo in Harlem, and it's a full black act, big, and this is obviously a big thing in 1950, I don't know, 54, 55, and so it's all black acts, and they say, "Let's Buddy Holly and the Crickets," and they walk out. Silence is going. Because they've all heard that'll be the day, and they're thinking, "Hey, this
is good."
Oh my god!
Stuff.
And then, of course, they played, and the music won them over. 03459 455 555 is the telephone number.
Frank Sinatra was black.
How?
No, I didn't really.
What's on your show?
Yes, 9 o'clock this morning. The big phone in. Should everyone be forced to learn for a year before taking their driving test? Figures released by the Driving Standards Agency today have revealed that last year alone, more than 400 people crashed whilst taking their driving test. 21 of those people were trying to pass their test for the 30th time. The AA have responded to the figures, saying that they applaud drivers who fail multiple times but don't give up. However, groups like the
I wish they would don't give up.
However, groups like the RAC Foundation have argued all drivers should spend a minimum of 1 year behind the wheel before being even allowed to take their test. So we're going to discuss this from 9 o'clock. I'd love to know what you think. Should everyone be forced to learn for a year before taking their driving test? 03459 455s and the rest of the fives.
Spring, summer, autumn, winter. They're all great seasons in their own right, but the best one is yet to come.
From Saturday the 8th of August, we'll bring you our biggest season ever.
Here's Deeney. Deeney with a chance. Troy Deeney puts Watford in front.
Grigg with a chance to make it 2. Grigg shoots and Grigg scores.
With Watford in the Premier League, MK Dons in the Championship, and Luton, Wickham and Stevenage all in League 2.
Makes it 2-0. Howes with 4 for the season.
Parrott with a shot. It's flown in.
will bring you more of the biggest games than ever before.
Mawson's there. It's a goal. Wickham have got a second.
The new season starts right here on Saturday the 8th of August in Three Counties Sport.
New season of football in sport now. A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late into the night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. Consultant surgeon Stuart Gould, who we spoke to about an hour ago, posted the picture to show the commitment and hard work of his team working well after their normal shifts. His post also contained a message to Jeremy Hunt, who just over a week ago, the Health Secretary, of course, criticised the Monday to Friday culture of doctors. Well, Dr. Mike Smith chairs the Patients Association. The Monday to Friday culture of doctors. Mike, what's your thought on that?
It's going to have to come, Iain. 8,000 people more than should do are dying as a result of the way in which the organisation is arranged at present for routine work in a hospital, not emergency work, routine work. And it's not just Sir Jeremy Hunt, who understandably as a politician everybody can have a go at, but it's the great Sir Bruce Keogh, the medical director of the NHS England, himself a cardiac surgeon who knows like no other what emergency work and routine work is. And it's him that was saying yesterday, for instance, that this has just got to come to overcome, one, the unwitting deaths, but also the suffering caused. If you turn up in hospital on a Saturday or Sunday, you are admitted, you not only have the extra chance of, as we say, dying, but also because the facilities aren't there to do the things that need to be done in terms of investigation, x-rays and all the rest of it, and the whole team, it's not just the doctors, you are, as a result, treated differently, worse, because of the fact that the routine staff are not there.
Having had cause to visit family in hospital over the weekend, it does feel like, and not to demean the people that do work at the weekends, it does feel like it's empty. It does feel like a different place compared to the middle of the week. What has to change then, Mike? Is it throwing more money at it? Is it people working different shifts? How do they work it then?
Well, they're allowed at the moment to not do routine work at weekends, and so an X-ray that it said can wait for 3 or 4 days. Well, you don't do that at the weekend. A blood test that can wait because it's just to check up. The clinician is reasonably sure that this, and this, but nevertheless, just get a blood test to be sure. That possibly is waiting too. Not emergency stuff. If somebody is critically ill, then the emergency teams do go at it, and I mean the critical centres with the big A&Es that deal with real emergencies. They're there full on 7 days a week, but the hospitals aren't. And I mean there was figures quoted last week, and for instance, some hospitals only have 1 to 10 numbers of senior staff on duty over the weekend, as one would have in other hospitals where they might have 6 or 7. And also, there was criticism, surprisingly, from the medical unions of a hospital in Northumberland that, of its own local leadership, get up and go, some units of years ago have said, no, this is not good enough, we've really got to do the 7-day stuff. And they're not only doing it, upping the well-being of the staff, bringing down the tragedies that we know can occur when it's understaffed at weekend, but they're also saving money. You'd have to go into the details before I confuse your listener how this was done, but indeed that has been done.
What do you think of pictures like this then by Stuart Gould? Is it aggressive? Is it misunderstanding what's being asked of him?
It's what we call an anecdote. It's a one-off. It's the things the journalists love, particularly the Daily Mail. What he is saying is, I'm doing this above the call of duty. It's this time of night and so on. What we need to know, Iain, is what not the above the call of duty is, but what is that duty call that all of us should be doing? We can't, as Sir Bruce Keogh said, rely on those saints who do far, far more than their colleagues are doing. But we want to know that there is a standard that everybody is doing so that we can get these 8,000 deaths, avoidable deaths that are occurring, get those down for a start. But it's not just that, it's the suffering that goes with it, the people that don't die more frequently but are ill longer because of the lack of attention from what would be everyday investigations and staff.
Doctors and nurses do work hard, don't they? They saved my mum's life. I've seen them dealing with people. You hear stories that they do work hard, and the implication that I've picked up in some of the stories, the narrative seems to be that they could work harder. They get paid too much money, and they could work harder.
If they were on 7 days and doing proper rotas, I'm not suggesting that anybody should work 7 days they would do, when they did a weekend, they had 2 days off, for example. That's I hope, the way it's planned. And we're not just talking about doctors and nurses now, because you've got to have the technicians who run all the equipment, the investigative equipment and so on. It's the staff thing, generally. One doesn't want them to run into the ground. One wants the ground to be even, so that it works out to the best for everybody, as has been found in Northumberland. And surprisingly, the people who want to criticise the idea of 7-day working within the professions were criticising Northumberland, although Northumberland was saying we're very happy, the patients are happy, we're bringing the figures down, we're saving money, but nevertheless the criticism still comes.
Mike, listen, it's always good to talk to you. I really appreciate your insight. Dr. Mike Smith, who chairs the Patients Association.
This is Iain Lee
on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Okay, so this morning, Dealey's got half an hour. Can we send Dealey out on this one? Singers white singers you thought were black singers you thought were white. I think it's a nice one, because someone will take offence and complain about it. I couldn't care less. I think it's a genuine thing. We've had a text about one of your fellas, Kelly Betts, George Ezra.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like a very soulful black man.
He does.
Who's the Scottish gentleman who likes a bit... Paolo Nutini. I thought he was a black guy. There's people will say I'm being... No, it's just an observation. Leslie's in Luton. Morning, Leslie.
Oh, sorry, fader 3.
Morning, Leslie.
Good morning, Iain.
Leslie, it's so great to hear your voice. Where have you been, brother?
I've been around, like always.
Yeah, round, get around, you get around. Get around, round, you get around. You get around from town to town. You're a real cool head. You're making real good bread. You're getting bugged driving up and down the same old streets. You gotta find a new place. Yes, Leslie.
Iain, talking of bread, one of my favourite pop stars.
Sorry?
Bread, the group.
Oh, really?
Yes.
One of your favourite groups of all time is
Bread? My favourite pop group. Yeah, Bread, yeah.
But with the greatest of respect, aren't Bread one of the blandest groups of all time?
No, the Guitar Man, that's brilliant.
Okay. Do you know what? I'm genuinely surprised.
Rod Stewart, one of my favourite.
This is Leslie's favourite band, and he wants to make it with you. Sing along, Leslie.
Hey, have you fantastic.
You going to sing along, Les?
I don't know the lyrics.
Okay, well then that's how much you like them. That's how much you like them. I maybe saying all this I do, yes. Here we go. I know this bit. I wanna make it with you. And by make it, I think we know what he means, don't we, Leslie?
Exactly.
Exactly. Can I ask you a question, Leslie?
Yeah, go ahead.
What is it about Bread that is so good? The band, not the sandwich.
You just got fantastic voice.
Yeah, isn't it? I wanna make it with you, Mr. David Gates. What have we called him for? Yeah, what? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah.
What?
I'm a Rolling Stone. I don't understand the lyrics or the music.
I only recently found out the lyrics for which one is it? Which one is about rape and murder? Which one is that? It's either Gimme Shelter or Sympathy for the Devil. Either way, it's blooming horrible. And the fact I've heard that song for the last 40 years and only recently found out the lyrics, what they mean and what they are, shows just how bad Mick Jagger's what's the word I'm thinking of, Shags?
Mind?
Diction is. The friction of the diction. Leslie, are you calling us from space or from Los Angeles in the 80s or something? Because there's a really weird delay between me finishing a sentence and you being silent.
I don't know. I'm in a dodgy area in my flat. I'm calling from your old town.
A dodgy area in his flat. What is that? Is that the dungeon? He's not said no.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 is slow from junction 6A for the M25, going north to Hemel Hempstead at junction 7 after an accident earlier. Going in the other direction towards London, it's still queuing from junction 12 for Flitwick all the way down to 7 for Hemel Hempstead. It was blocked, or 3 lanes were blocked for quite a while this morning. The M25 anti-clockwise, that has a lane blocked on the exit slip road to the roundabout at Kings Langley junction 20, and the inside lane as you come off the M25. On the M25 clockwise, heavier than normal between junction 19 for Watford and 21 for the M1. Mark 8 on the A5 going south, that's heavy going towards Redbourne, and the overground now running again, but severe delays between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone after the overrunning engineering works. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
We're all still reeling from the fact that Leslie Luton's favourite band is Bread.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
With the headlines, I'm Simon Oxley. Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today working with Luton, Central Beds and Bedford councils to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. It comes after 6 men were found guilty in neighbouring Buckinghamshire of abusing 2 girls in Aylesbury. The senior peer, Lord Sewell, is said to be resisting calls to resign from the House of Lords after being filmed allegedly taking cocaine with prostitutes. And a picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. Stuart Gould says he posted the picture after Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt criticised what he called the Monday to Friday culture of doctors.
Three Counties Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Chris Froome has become the first Briton to win the Tour de France twice. After Sir Bradley Wiggins won in 2012, Froome has now won in 2013 and 2015.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. It's such an amazing feeling. I mean, this picture of standing here on the Champs-Elysees on the final podium has sort of been at the back of the mind. That's been the picture of motivation for the last year, trying to get to this point. So to be standing here now, it just almost feels surreal. I can't quite take it all in.
Lewis Hamilton was only 6th in yesterday's Hungarian Grand Prix, but extended his championship lead to 21 points as title rival Nico Rosberg was only 8th. The Milton Keynes Red Bull team had their best result this season, with Daniel Kvyat 2nd and Daniel Ricciardo 3rd behind winner Sebastian Vettel, but it was frustration for Hertfordshire's Hamilton.
I was all over the place. I really don't have any words to explain what happened today, but it was a really bad performance day for myself. I had mistakes all over the place, really. I don't know if it was lack of concentration or what.
In football, Watford defender Miguel Layún has helped Mexico to a 3-1 win over Jamaica in the CONCACAF Gold Cup final. Milton Keynes Dons are being linked with a loan move for Liverpool teenager Ryan Kent. The 18-year-old has been on Liverpool's pre-season tour in the Far East. Luton will find out today if striker Craig McHale-Smith will be joining them this season. The former Peterborough and Brighton player has been training with the Hatters and playing in pre-season friendlies. Meanwhile, goalkeeper Mark Tyler played for the first time since February in Saturday's draw with Coventry. And Wickham have signed former Watford midfielder Luke O'Nien. Meanwhile, Wanderers keeper Matt Ingram made his comeback from injury in a practice match against Aston Villa on Saturday. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Baby, you know that dream.
Yep, this is Leslie Luton's favourite band. I did not see that coming. I didn't think Bread were anybody's favourite band. Even David Gates, who's in Bread.
To help me through.
I wanna make it with you. Oh, yeah, wanna make it.
I really think that we could make it.
Did you know that? Did you know that was coming?
No, never. I don't think any of us did.
Leslie's a man full of surprises. He's a legend, a myth. He's a monster. He's a player. He's a geezer.
He said, I hear you were late. I said, yeah. I didn't hear my alarm. He went, no, not alarms. Don't use alarms. Bad things.
Well, what does he use then?
He said it just wakes up.
Kept me warm. Kept me warm.
Yes.
You gave my life to me.
What does that even mean?
Set me free.
And again? Set me free.
The finest years I ever knew.
This is actually a tune, to be honest. Here we go. Are you ready? Here we go.
I would give everything
I own. Give up my bone, my life, my phone. I would give everything I own just to have you. Is it really about his dad?
Yeah, apparently.
I'm going to be crying about my dad again. My dad didn't like this rubbish. My dad liked Neil Diamond. OK, well, there we go. We're asking this morning singers that you thought were black but turned out to be white, and vice versa. 03459 455 555. You can text as well. 81333. Start your text 3CR. Now, a story that has got... The thing about this story about Penn School, right, is... people from all over the world are now fascinated by it. I posted... We did a special podcast last week, the 2 podcasts, a special one for the closure of this Penn School in High Wycombe. It's a school for autistic and deaf and children who have great difficulty communicating. It's closing, and it's been a bit of a balls up, to be completely honest, the way it's been handled. It's been handled appallingly. And I posted the link again on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Iain Lee. Why not? Why not? And people from America, people from Japan, people from all around the world going, this is incredible. This is an incredible story. I wish there was something that we could do. And it really is a mess. The local MP, Steve Baker, the Conservative MP for High Wycombe, where the school is based, won't come on the show to talk about it anymore. He didn't like the tone of the interview. You can hear it in the podcast. He claimed it breached BBC guidelines. Didn't. He's just passionate about a school for kids who need a little bit of extra help closing down and the parents being shafted. The trustees who are responsible for the charitable trust that runs it won't come on and talk to us. That's fine. They won't talk to the parents. They didn't have time to talk to anyone. They did have time to get a mate who runs a PR company in Soho. To send us not only a very lengthy, wordy email that actually backfired and made them look like plums, but also throughout the show, a couple of shows, he was able to send us slightly aggressive emails. So that's how they want to play it. Ah, man alive. Stephanie Stacey has got a son, has got a son who was at the school. Morning, Stephanie.
Good morning, Ian.
How are you doing? How's things going?
Actually, I have to say I was listening to your song, Bread. I Want to Make It With You.
Oh, don't tell me that's your favourite song in the world.
No. It's the right era for me. I'm the right age. But I thought it was quite an anthem for the school.
Aye.
Did you think about it?
Yeah. Well,
it was totally appropriate. It's the way that so many people feel. I just want to make it with you. There's nothing else that will do.
Do you know what? Then that can be the theme of the campaign. The school closed last Wednesday for the summer holidays, possibly forever. You've got until the 31st of July was the last I heard. Where are we now, Stephanie?
Well, my understanding is that deadline still exists, although the administrator made it very, very clear that deadline wasn't an immovable feast. So, in other words, if she thought she'd have something on the table on the 2nd of August, then she was not going to be dramatic about the 31st. But clearly, we haven't had any updates to say that a deal has been secured.
It sounds like the administrators have been very open and forthcoming. Would that be correct?
That's certainly the way I feel, having been at a meeting when I was very impressed with the administrator I met. She was super.
They seem to be prepared to talk, and you know, it's not their fault. They're there to try and clear the mess up. And yet they are engaging and being as open as they can. Silly question. Have you heard anything from the trustees?
No, I have to say I think they're being extraordinarily foolish. I think they're frightened. I think they think that if they just hide, it'll all go away. And I don't think they're very savvy. They're possibly the wrong generation. They don't understand the impact of social media. I just think they are inept. I think they're inept. That isn't the opinion of many parents. Many parents think there's probably some kind of conspiracy to benefit from the land, benefit from the school. I'm not convinced that will be possible, but it's got to be investigated, and I am pushing for a charity commissioner's investigation in order to bring it all out. Yeah, and we have to say that there is no evidence of any wrongdoing or anything dodgy going on by the trustees. But we all know that if people don't say anything, then people make up their own stories, don't they, and fill in the blanks. And it would be so good for the trustees to come to one of your meetings or to come on this show and say, look,
this is what's happened. We're not hiding anything. We just messed up and we feel bad.
I think it's more complicated than that, because actually, as a trustee, you do have regulations. You are regulated by the Charities Commission, and you have obligations. And I've been a trustee of a charity, and I used to get sleepless nights because we were raising money that we weren't spending. And believe it or not, that's illegal. You can't raise money unless you spend it. Now, these trustees are the inverse of that. They were not raising money when they should have done. Now, the thing is, the moment the school went into special measures, they knew, or should have known, that the school was going to take a severe drop in income. That was totally, immediately the response from that. Everybody knew it. And there is no evidence that we have seen that suggests they did anything about the drop in income until probably the beginning of this year. It was just too late. They went out there trying to find funding from the Department for Education, trying to find funding from all sorts of sources. But consistently, the story was coming back, why didn't you come to us 9 months ago? Why didn't you come to us 9 months ago? So they did react, but they slept for a year. That's the thing that none of us understand, and that is possibly where they're in breach of their duty as trustees and possibly illegally.
Well, again, I know you understand why I have to say this, Stephanie. We have no evidence of any wrongdoing or illegality, and so I would not like to suggest
we have no evidence of illegality or wrongdoing. However, there is evidence of wrongdoing under trustee law in their inaction.
Yeah, there is certainly evidence that they could have done more. But just to cover our backsides legally, Stephanie, I have to say that we're not in any way suggesting that they have done anything illegal. It would be good to ask them about things. You've put in a freedom of information request, haven't you?
I have. So I put in a freedom of information request to ask about the quality of the inspectors that came to the school when it went into special measures. Now, this started, oddly enough, when I read Steve Baker's blog on June 16th.
Okay.
And he's not my constituent MP, Dominic Grieve is, and I've since seen Dominic Grieve. My conclusion at the end of it is that if Dominic Grieve had been our constituency MP, which he would have been until 2010 when the boundaries were changed, I think Dominic Grieve could well have helped the head and governors challenge the report that put us into special measures in the first place. Steve Baker clearly wasn't involved, didn't really know about it, wasn't really interested. Dominic Grieve was the patron of the school, and he's a barrister, and he understands law, and he also calls a spade a spade. And he was absolutely adamant on Friday that the report that was drawn up to put the school into special measures could have been challenged and should have been challenged, and it's a shame that it wasn't. So that's quite an interesting thing. So I started looking at that in more detail because Steve Baker said, and I quote, "The school was rightly placed in special measures." And I thought, well, hang on a second, that makes a big assumption that Ofsted knew what they were doing and that they were going by some kind of infallible criteria and nobody would question that. Well, if Steve Baker had done his homework, he would have known that this wasn't true. This is completely untrue. To start with, the only reason that Ofsted was called into the school was because 3 sets of parents were unhappy about what was happening with their students, with their children, which is absolutely fine. All of us are entitled to do that. They weren't satisfied with the progress they were making about their complaints, which they had taken to quite a high level. So they elected, which they can do in this country, to go to Ofsted and say, we don't like the quality of education at Penn School. As a result of that, Ofsted came in with no warning. The school had been 7 months earlier. The school was good with outstanding features. It was across the board was a success story. Suddenly, 7 months later, due to 3 sets of parents saying we don't like it, Ofsted come crashing in. During that time, 89% of parents said to Ofsted that they were happy with the education their children were getting there. Only 9 complaints were made to Ofsted online or by person or email saying that they weren't happy. So the overwhelming majority of parents were happy with the education at Penn School. So for Steve Baker to say the school was rightly placed in special measures, it sounds very hollow when you're one of those parents who at the time were saying, what's the problem? Does anybody know what the problem is?
It all...
it's a mess.
It's a mess, and it's all just a little bit stinky. And people that should be getting their hands dirty and helping, sort this thing out, they just seem to be more interested in making sure they don't look bad.
I would include that with Steve Baker and the government that he the administration he works for. Steve Baker hasn't at any point questioned the judgment of Ofsted on that day, but Dominic Grieve did with me. Dominic Grieve completely agreed with me that it stank, that the Ofsted report was totally dubious. And more than that, the Ofsted inspectors at the time, you can ask questions about the Ofsted inspectors. All the data is out there. In April 2012, Ofsted said and admitted on record that they didn't know how many of their inspectors had experience of leading schools. They didn't even know whether or not all the inspectors had qualified teacher status. So the inspectors that went into Penn School, they knew at the time, knew nothing about special needs. But it's possible they weren't even teachers.
Stephanie, listen, I have to move on, you know, because, you know, we have business and we have things that we have to do here. It's really good to talk to you. We're not letting this go, so don't think for a second that you know, what can we achieve? I don't know. But hopefully if there are any scoundrels, we can shine a little bit of light on the scoundrels, and if there aren't, you know, we'll get people to come and speak up for what did or didn't happen. Stephanie Stacey, we will speak to you again. She's one of the parents of one of the kids that was going to Penn School. If you want to get the background to the story, if you go to iTunes and type in Iain Lee, Penn, P-E-N-N, or go to the BBC Three Counties website, there's an hour of the last 2 weeks. I know, and it sounds like it could be a bit heavy. Actually, it's fascinating. And if at the end of it you are not moved or angry or disgusted or outraged, then I'm well, I don't think you can say I'm a Chinaman anymore. But that's what my mum and dad would have said. Anyway, Stephanie, thank you very much. And I know there's a meeting tonight that we're hoping to get some inside information on. Right, BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 going north, still slow after an accident earlier around Hemel Hempstead. It's busy from the M25, junction 6A. Going towards London, the M25 still queuing all the way from Flitwick at junction 12 to 7 for Hemel Hempstead after another accident. The A1M moving south, that's still queuing between the Stevenage junctions 8 and 7. At Sandy, the A1 looking busy going south too at the Sandy roundabout. On the M25, it's busy anti-clockwise between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. Clockwise busy from junction 20 at Kings Langley to 21 for the M1, and still severe delays on London Overground between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone after overrunning engineering works. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Tom. 8:48. It's Monday, the 27th of July. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police have started a new campaign today to make people more aware of child sexual exploitation. A picture of a surgeon from Hemel Hempstead mopping his operating theatre late at night has been shared over 100,000 times on Facebook. And the senior peer, Lord Sewell, who was filmed allegedly taking cocaine with prostitutes, is resisting calls to resign from Parliament. Let's get the weather.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, it's pretty much dry across the three counties now. We've got some breaks appearing in the cloud as well. And we're set to have a generally fairly dry day. That's not to say you couldn't rule out the risk of a late shower later this afternoon, but top temperature of 18 Celsius, certainly a lot better a day than it was yesterday. Still keeping quite a bit of cloud through the day. It'll be on the breezy side as well, but we'll have some bright or sunny spells coming through. And actually a better chance even of seeing them tomorrow. Again, a top temperature of 18 Celsius. A lot of dry weather, but again, the risk of a shower. For tomorrow and for Wednesday, we'll continue with the odd risk of a shower here and there, but mostly dry. And then for Thursday and Friday, after a cool period in the middle part of the week with a northwesterly wind, pressure building across the south of the UK, settling us down, completely killing off the risk of any showers, and temperatures will start to warm up a little towards next weekend too.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah.
Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
For over 6 decades, comedian Ken Dodd has been touring and selling out theatres.
I'm very blessed, actually, Mr. Nick, because if the jokes aren't connecting as much as I'd like them to, I can always burst into song.
Weekdays from 12.
Much of that music, not least the Happy Mondays, has not only stood the test of time, it still sounds as fresh as it did then.
Certainly does, yeah. 60s knockoffs. It's sure that weren't that other lot, not us.
Nick Coffer.
Live at Woburn Abbey for the Woburn Abbey Garden Show. It's very nice to actually speak to you in your home. You are the very proud garden manager.
I am indeed, yes. I'm proud of what we've achieved as a team here at Woburn. It's fantastic.
Nick Coffer. Weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
03459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. So, black singers Shags, why on earth are we talking about black singers you thought were white and vice versa? Where did that come from?
It was before Rolling Stones.
It's before the Rolling Stones.
It was you and Justin talking. I can't remember. It's all a bit of a blur.
Blur are one of the whitest bands in the world. There was no chance you were going to mistake Blur for being black. Of course, I mentioned this the other week. There's the famous scene in the Neil Diamond film The Jazz Singer where he's a young Jewish lad. He's not, he's 40. And he wants to be a rock and roll singer. And his dad, Laurence Olivier, of course, famous Jewish man, says, no, you can't do it. And he goes off and plays a gig. Have I got the song here? He goes off and plays a gig in a black club, 1980, guys. And he has to black up to get away with it. What's the song he sings? I'm getting there, hang on. It's you, baby, baby. You, baby, baby, now.
Oh, here he comes.
Oh, Neil Diamond?
Well,
no, he's singing it, and he's not. The thing is, he's not blacked up his hands.
Oh.
So he's blacked up. He's got the wig and everything. And all the black people are going, yeah, this guy's a great black singer. And then he starts clapping, ooh, baby, baby, ooh, and the guy goes, well, hang on a second, I think...
Oh, this is Neil Diamond you're talking
Neil
about,
Diamond in The Jazz Singer.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's a good film, isn't it? It's a little bit too long, The Jazz Singer. And so he's playing in a black club, right, and he's blacked up, and this is what happens. So he's rocking, and everyone's loving it. Everyone's loving it.
Ooh, baby, baby,
he started clapping now. He's forgot to black his hands up.
Ooh, baby, baby, now.
His friend in the band is nudging him, saying, put your hands down. Someone in the audience is looking, rubbing their eyes, pointing to their hands, and they say... That ain't no brother, that's a white boy. A white boy! It really is one of the most... And then it kicks off. It really is one of the most remarkable scenes in cinematic history.
I'm watching it now, all kicking off. Brilliant.
It's a good film. Look at that. Diamonds just smacks someone around the head with the guitar.
And all because he was a great singer.
It's good, that film.
Yeah.
There's another film that Neil Diamond's in. It's called Saving Silverman or something. It's brilliant. You'd love it. It's Jack Black and a couple of other people, and they're in like a Neil Diamond tribute band, right? It's all about them. And basically, this guy loves this girl, and he wants this girl to go out with him. It's the basic premise. And at the end, she's going to get married to someone else, right? And the guy's going, I can't let her marry him.
Yeah.
How are we going to stop it? They go and they kidnap Neil Diamond and get him to perform, I think, Love on the Rocks to her. And she realises it's such a romantic gesture that she falls in love with the guy and marries him.
That's a great story.
It's a great story. Why were we talking about black singers who are white?
I have no idea. I heard you talking about this earlier, and I heard your call to get me out on the streets.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
I can't remember.
Something to do with Wheeler.
Because I was talking to Wheeler was black.
Yeah.
Meghan Trainor, that was it. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. I know. Yeah, it turns out Tim Wheeler's white and Meghan Trainor was white. That was it. I knew we'd get there eventually, and I'm looking forward to the complaints coming in from idiots.
Well, there shouldn't be complaints.
Of course, it's nice. It's a perfectly. We've all done that thing. Going, do you know what? I thought they were black.
Yeah, George Ezra, Lisa Stansfield, Michael McDonald.
Oh, mate, good call.
Jamiroquai, Joss Stone.
Sorry, go back one.
Jamiroquai. You all right?
I'll clip that.
Thank you. Just say it one more time.
Jamiroquai.
I love you.
What?
I love you.
Listen, he's local and vocal.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's not listening.
Is he a Jamiroquai tribute act? I love it. He does that look when he's been busted like that. He's got this.
Jamiroquai to me.
His shoulders go down, and he just looks to the side as if he's saying, "If this was in a bar, I would smack you now, son." Jamiroquai. Right. Yeah. Okay. You've taken this to the streets.
I have. It's slightly controversial, but again, people should not be offended by it.
No.
We've all been there,
yeah.
and you know what? It works the other way as well. So it works both ways.
Yeah.
So tough market this one. You gave me 20 minutes to ask people.
Tough market.
No, it is 20 minutes because you've got to really think about it, haven't you?
Oh, you do make me laugh.
So, I've been on the streets this morning asking people to name me white singers who they thought were black singers. Here's what happened. Singers who are white, but when you heard them, you thought they were black.
Rick Astley.
Rick Astley.
There we go.
Bit of Rick Rolling.
Is that all right for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you saw him, were you genuinely shocked that he was white and a bit ginger as well?
A bit ginger, like that. He has got a very deep voice, yeah.
You would think he was black with a voice like that, yeah.
Maybe at first, yeah.
And describe to our listeners what you're wearing today.
I'm wearing the Beat T-shirt.
Yes, that's why I knew you had style and swag. Peter, first of all, do you like my yacht loafers?
Yeah, not bad.
Okay, thanks, mate. Good feedback. Singers who are white, but you thought they were black.
George Michael.
Some of his stuff, he does sound like a black artist.
He does, and I'll tell you one thing, he's one of the best singers in the country, I know.
Dusty Springfield. Yeah.
Yeah?
What's that record they used to sing? I had a tape of it somewhere. I can't think of the name.
You don't have to say you love me?
No. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, I've got
How does
that.
it go
I've got
again?
that. You don't have to say you love me just because I had. You don't have to stay forever. I will understand. Believe me, believe me. You don't have to say you love me just because I had. You don't have to stay forever. I will understand. Believe me, believe me. I know that one.
Thank you. Sorry about that, mate. That's the streets for you.
I'm not sure what happened in the last 30 seconds of that report.
Well, she thought that Dusty Springfield was a black artist when she first heard her music, and she knows that song. She knows it.
Well, I mean, that's debatable.
Her version of it, yeah.
Nice harmony from you coming in there.
Well, I was just staggered by that, really.
Thank you, Justin.
It's all right.
Much appreciated.
We done?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, mate. See you later.
Ta-ta.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
My swag has taken its toll.
Why, what's happened?
Been wearing too many loafers without socks. I need a chiropodist.
Why?
Because I've got, let's just say I'm in a lot of pain this morning walking on the streets.
What have you got? Have you got verrucas or corn? What have you got?
Couple of corns.
Oy.
So if anybody can help me out, get me back on them streets tomorrow, fit and healthy. I'd really appreciate it. I feel like David Beckham.
What on earth are you talking? Is this just because Cat's away? He's gone nuts.
When he had a problem with his metatarsal, obviously he couldn't be out on the pitch. I've got a problem with my feet, and the streets is obviously where I go every single day and speak to people. So if anybody can help me out, I'm just asking for a bit of help, okay? That's all. See you later.
Or you could go and pay a professional to look at your manky, stinky, dirty
I'm after
feet.
a professional, but I want somebody, with good credentials.
You want compost gratis?
Maybe.
Okay. Okay, well, tomorrow is a Jamiroquai special. I do like this job sometimes. Only sometimes, though.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 going north now, back to normal around Junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead after the accident. Going towards London, though, still queuing from Flitwick, Junction 12, down to 7 at Hemel Hempstead, where there was the accident earlier. Reports of an accident in Tring on the A41 heading east. David's called to say that's between the North Church turn and the Chesham turn, so take care if you're heading in that direction. Actually, a broken down car there. The A1M going south, that's queuing between the Stevenage junctions 8 to 7. Busy on the M25 going anti-clockwise between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. Back to normal now on the overground between Watford Junction and Harrow and Wealdstone after the overrunning engineering earlier. Tom Watts, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nice one, Tom. Thank you, mate. Well, it's been a show of shows today. Don't forget, on today's show, this happened. Oh no, my computer don't work. There it is.
Jamiroquai.
Thank you very much indeed. Back tomorrow at 6 for more classic bands.
Local and vocal across
Jamiroquai.
beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, thank you very much, Ian. You're listening to the JVS show. Tim Wheeler standing in for Jonathan Vernon Smith. And at 9 o'clock, it's the big phone-in. Should every